Yeah, so interesting news. By the time most of you hear this, there will be a new Superman trailer.
Oh.
Yeah, the new Superman trailer drops on Wednesday, the 14th.
Who's playing Superman in this?
Haley Steinfeld, no. That's an inside joke, folks.
Oh my gosh. No, because I saw a joke that was like, after seeing that movie, Josh Allen has to play the next Creed villain.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Check out our Sinners review.
check out the Sinners review, yeah.
And the
for
movie.
sure. And the movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I need for someone in Hollywood, it could be James Gunn. I typically prefer for it to be James Gunn, but I need them to come out and explain to me what the difference between a trailer and a teaser is now.
Yeah.
Because, like, Thunderbolts had like a 4-minute teaser. And they did a good job with it. I mean, they really didn't reveal very much. But, like, they had the Superman teaser and then, like, the teaser 2. And I'm like, what? A teaser is like 15 seconds. You know,
with the teaser, you would like get a blank screen, then you get like some ambient noise and maybe some voiceover work, and then you get like the money shot at the end of that 15 seconds.
Great example is the new "This Summer I Turned Pretty" season 3 teaser. It's literally Taylor Swift songs with like quick cuts, and then like the main male character who's been gone for the whole cuts opening a door and walking in. And it's like the perfect teaser. It makes you want to watch it, but that gives nothing away.
That is a teaser, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
really good example of one. But nowadays for Hollywood, with superhero movies in particular, a teaser is 90 seconds. And,
yeah. Shows every character.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a little moment, you know. But new Superman trailer today?
No, it'll come out on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They announced it, I think, earlier today that, the new trailer will be dropping on Wednesday. And to answer your question,
I was like, we never got to it.
his name is David Cornsweet.
No, y'all are fucking with me.
We're not. His name is David Cornsweet.
Is going to play the man from Kansas?
And he looks like now granted, I am not in the let's hate this movie because I love Henry Cavill. I do love Henry Cavill. He's a huge Sanderson nerd and also in amazing shape and just like the best.
And I think we all can't wait to see what he does with
Warhammer?
Yes.
Warhammer.
Very
And
excited.
Highlander.
And
Yeah.
Highlander. I'm so
And
excited
anything
for
else he
Highlander.
may do.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And his role as Dalinar Kholin in maybe 20 years or whatever. But
Absolutely.
we will see. But yeah, this dude looks, when I show him to you, he looks like we got Henry Cavill at home.
No.
100%. Tell me this motherfucker don't.
Oh, no.
Does he not look like we got Henry Cavill
he
at home?
does.
Yeah.
He looks like a girl made a video and was like, my boyfriend looks just like Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's impressive, and I don't know if it's the fact that does Henry Cavill just have the typical Superman look, so that they try to get someone who also has like those exact.
I think he
features?
definitely came like one of the closest as far as to
yeah.
the comic Superman
Yeah.
looking with the very square jaw.
Absolutely.
And the build. His face is too round. Like,
Yeah.
it's something's just not right. He's not filling that suit out right. It's just not right.
I've never been a fan of the Superman casting, and I've definitely never been a fan of the Lois casting. Out of the 4 actresses that they had in the running, and don't ask me who they were because like I can't remember now, that shit's been deleted and like space in the database has been freed up for other stuff already. But those are like alternate universe options now. But she was like my last pick.
Oh, that's
Rachel Brosnahan.
Yeah, Rachel Brosnahan.
I do know that name for some reason.
And I'm really hoping that both of them are going to prove me wrong. Like, I trust James Gunn, right? Like, I mean, I don't fucking like Chris Pratt either, but, you know, I thought he was a good Star-Lord, so.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a great Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a strong sense of cautious optimism for the Superman movie. I am a Superman fan, and I'm really hoping that they can get this one down. It is, at least in tone, based off of a comic book All-Star Superman.
Which we have reviewed.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, when you watch that, the teaser that's already out, the 90-second teaser that's already out for it, it does give off those kind of vibes that comic book does. Nicholas Hoult is playing Lex Luthor.
I do like him a lot. I've seen multiple things with him, and I know who that is, which is rare. So what do you guys think is, like, the secret sauce for doing these remakes with different leads, like the Spider-Mans and the Batmans, where they work, where Superman maybe hasn't sometimes?
Well, with Spider-Man, you grow a human being in a lab designed to play Spider-Man, known as Tom Holland.
True. He is, like, the perfect freaking Spider-Man.
Yeah. He's kind of like an amalgamation of, like, video game Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, like, kind of all just...
It's very bizarre how that happened.
How they just kind of squeezed all that into a human.
And we want him to look 20 forever. Yeah.
We're getting at least one more of him as
three more. He is contracted for 3 more.
That's amazing.
And,
I did not know that.
Technically, I believe you're going to get 6 more appearances of his. Like, I think he's contracted for Doomsday, Secret Wars, an unnamed team up, and then 3 more Spider-Man movies, if I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome. I love him as Spider-Man.
Wait, no. He's not in Doomsday, right?
No. So I think it's 5.
So it's 5 more appearances. Secret Wars, an unnamed team up, probably like Avengers 8 or whatever, and then 3 more Spider-Man movies. So.
Well, that's awesome because I love him as Spider-Man. One of the reasons I don't know who Haley Steinfeld is I've not seen the animated Spider-Man movies.
Oh.
So.
The second one is really good. It's definitely worth watching. The first one, a lot of people really like the first one. I think it's okay to good. Like, I don't hate it, and I'd watch it again. But like the second one to me is like incredible. Like what they've done with it is bar none. Like it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you missed both Spider-Verse movies. That's impressive.
Depending on when they came out, I was probably nose deep in a book somewhere.
Probably. It was 2018 for the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was literally surviving off of Akatar and Akatar alone at that time of my life.
That sounds like a prescription drug, almost.
No.
Well, I mean, Blue Chew.
Yeah. Which, by the way, use promo code HOMIES to get 15% off your first order.
We have a thing with Blue Chew.
Blue Chew is not a sponsor, but if any of you are listening or watching this, you can be.
Absolutely, yeah. We are not above peddling dick medication.
We'll hawk that shit.
I didn't even know what Blue Chew was.
Blue Chew is like Viagra, but it's gum.
Like
Blue Chew is Viagra, but it's
like
gum.
A chewable tablet type thing.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, you just be like, you know,
you can buy them in any gas station. You say?
No, it's a prescription, but like
it's an easy prescription.
It's an easy one, yeah, and like you know, if the date is going way better than you expected, you just be like, fuck.
You gotta
and
look
then
up.
You're like. You know, yeah, it's like I'm seeing a piece of gum. You know,
just make sure you don't have any of the residue in your teeth because it is blue.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, and then she's like, I gotta work in the morning. I'm going home, and then you're like, shit. I guess I'm going home too. So.
Or she's with the shit and she knows what time it is now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, anyways, Blue Chew. If you guys need another sponsor, because nerds need love too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, for the first month, if you just want to send me personally free Blue Chew, we might be able to work something out here on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. if you want to send my co-host here some Blue Chew, I'll write a commercial. I've never written a commercial before, but I'll take a crack at it.
I'll do a bit too. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Yeah, it's like
all in the name of getting Ace free Blue Chew.
I'll write one commercial for it, right? And then I'll eat a piece, and then I'll write another one. see if they're different. You know?
Oh shit! I'm gonna make that a clip.
Yeah, you should.
Anywho, Blue Chew aside, we are here for a very specific and very fun purpose here tonight. And that is, of course, to discuss the latest 3 episodes of Andor, episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Andor Season 2. However, before we begin, proper introductions are in order.
They are indeed.
So, with that being said, homies one and all, allow us to welcome you back to a very special episode of the Superhero Homies Podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with my illustrious co-host, the man who knows more about Star Wars than anyone else. He actually helped George Lucas write the original trilogy. I told you guys that before. Caleb denied it the first time, but I think he understands now that he actually did play a role in writing those original 3 movies. I'm here talking about none other than the homie Caleb.
What is going on, everybody? We are here tonight. We are going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. We are going to be talking about Star Wars, of course. And not only that, but like Disney Star Wars, and it's good. And that's a very narrow category.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And because this is such a monumentous occasion, we decided that we probably need some help. Someone to reel us in, someone with maybe a bit more common sense and passion and love and knowledge. And that, of course, is going to be none other than the homie Lauren making her return.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for me on Coffee and Lore, I haven't been there because all I can think about is Star Wars right now. So
Yes.
This will be a fun one.
But
You can
still,
eventually check out some new book reviews.
Absolutely, when I can read a new book.
Yeah. Yeah, but check out Coffee and Lore on YouTube, folks. There'll be some new content on there when she can finally stop daydreaming about Hayden Christensen. So
Absolutely, and he's not even in this show, guys. That's how down deep I am.
that would be wild.
yeah, what if he was?
Oh, Lord. I have hope for episodes 10 through 12, okay?
So did you love Obi-Wan, the show?
I did. I absolutely loved Obi-Wan. I know y'all have your own feelings about it, but Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, I'm like crossing my toes for a Vader comic-based Disney show. I think it would be phenomenal. When we go to Dragon Con, should this man be there, y'all will need to bring, like, a cardiac machine, because I don't care if I gotta give him my rent money. I'm gonna get me a picture.
If Hayden Christensen showed up at Dragon Con, that would, I mean, that's all you're going to do that day.
Absolutely. It's just go through the line about 4 times.
I mean, you'd be lucky to get through.
That's how the Baldur's Gate crew was last year. I mean, they had to move them. They originally, like, I guess the people that like put Dragon Con together, I guess maybe they just didn't understand. They were like, okay, well, everybody loves this video game, and they're like, well, surely like they're not all familiar with like the voice cast or whatever, so we're just gonna put them in the same room with all the other stars or whatever. And like after like 20 minutes, they had to move them to their own area because literally the entire Walk of Fame was full from people in their lines, especially Neil Newman. Like, if you wanted to suck Neil Newman's dick, it'd cost you $500,000 during Dragon Con last year. Okay, that's how occupied it was.
Somebody would have paid it.
The
That
stock,
was because there'd have been a line.
the stock in that shit was through the roof.
I'm really excited because I am getting BG3 this week, and the homie Oz and I are going to do a playthrough.
Oh,
Nice.
yes.
So it'll be my first ever, like, MMO. Is it an MMO?
Well,
I'm
it is not,
sorry.
no.
It's an RPG.
It's just an RPG.
Okay, cool. So it'll be my first ever RPG playthrough.
Yeah. MMO would mean there could be like thousands of people playing with you guys.
Oh, okay, cool.
You'll never find the homie Oz on that.
Well, we're going to do BG3, and I'm excited.
That's
because I have
dope.
heard nothing but amazing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, probably the greatest video game ever made by the numbers. Like, just looking at it objectively, it's the only video game to ever win every major Game of the Year award in the same year. It's never happened.
Yeah, it probably also won a homie even somehow.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure. It
that's-
won probably many homies. Come on.
the episode actually might have won a homie.
I think so.
Yeah,
It's
so
possible, yeah.
yeah, but we did review Baldur's Gate 3 and check that out, guys. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're here to review episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Andor tonight. And let me just say that when I hear Disney and Star Wars and 7, 8, 9, I get a real bad feeling in my tummy here. But that was not the case this past week. Full spoilers, by the way, for Andor, but probably for most of Star Wars. Andor Season 1. Rogue One and Andor Season 2 up through the end of Episode 9. Welcome to the Rebellion.
Spoiler alert, he's Luke's father.
Oh,
Sorry
shit.
if you didn't know.
Oh, shit. You know, interesting thing about that is in that scene, here we go already. So when they shot that shit, the only people that knew about any of it, like when they originally shot it, so like the James Earl Jones stuff, like James Earl Jones obviously wasn't in the suit. It was David Prowse in the suit. James Earl Jones dubbed over the shit later.
Yeah.
So when they actually originally filmed that, the whole Luke, no, I am your father, all that stuff, it was all redacted in the script. So like George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan sat Mark Hamill down right before they shot the scene and were like, this is what's going to happen. And he was like, the fuck? So the two of them, Mark Hamill and David Prowse, are the only people that knew about that shit for like 9 months. And like Harrison Ford didn't know, like nothing. Like none of the other co-stars knew or anything. He had to sit on that shit for like 9 months. And this is like back then, that's the spoiler of the century, you know?
Yeah. I full-blown cried over a TikTok today with the Obi-Wan telling Luke I knew your father scene, and it was like, I can't remember what song was playing in the background, but like tears left my eyes, and that is a how old movie?
40.
77, right?
Yeah, 77. Yeah.
Yeah. So that movie was made in 77, and I full-blown cried in the year of our Lord 2025 over this edit.
There's actually a documentary on Disney Plus, and I think it's still going, but it's actually a documentary about Industrial Light and Magic, and I've been watching some of that here and there. Like if I just
Need something on,
just want to put something on that I like don't have to pay a fuck ton of attention to, and it's pretty good, and it actually goes through like how Industrial Light and Magic got started when they were trying to make the original Star Wars in 77, and it goes through all three of the original Star Wars movies, and then I think the first season they end on Jurassic Park because they did all of that, and then I think the second season starts around there, and I think they did what is it? They definitely talk about Lost World, but there was another movie, The Matrix, maybe that they worked on.
Did they do Matrix?
The Wachowski brothers with, I think. But it's another late 90s movie that the second season starts with, and it goes through to like kind of the rise of like Weta Workshop. It doesn't go super in depth into that, but it was kind of like when they really came into things, it was like, oh, okay, we're not the only people doing this shit anymore. Yeah. So.
Fucking nerd. Here's another cool fun fact that you guys probably already knew though. David Prowse trained Christopher Reeves for Superman.
I did know that actually.
Yeah.
I totally knew that.
Well, Junior didn't know it, so there's that.
I did not know that.
David Prowse was a big motherfucker.
Yeah, he was very big, and it's crazy, right? Because like you look at like the size of the guy, and like he was in phenomenal shape. Can't really tell him in the Vader suit.
No.
Because Christopher Reeves himself, he wanted to put on size for Superman because he was like, if I want to play this kind of character, then I need to, I need to look the role the best I can. And back in the 70s, if you look at like the action guy in the 70s, they had like, it wasn't as bad as it was in the 60s when like all the action guys had 10-inch arms and pop bellies. And
there's still something about Conan though, the OG. I said,
oh yeah,
like that's the movie.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that movie so many times.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger changed the game.
He did
for sure. But that would be like a few years after Christopher Reeves' Superman. But yeah, like he packed on, I think they said 20 pounds of muscle.
That's insane.
That. Yeah, that is a ton of mass in a human body.
Yeah, absolutely. Henry Cavill just came to work.
He really.
He's like, you guys need me for what?
Have you seen that video of him when one of those late night hosts asked somebody does for cardio?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is so good.
And he's like, I run.
He should have never said that shit.
Yeah, no.
Ladies are just screaming, and he's like, they know what I'm talking about.
I was like in my apartment when I saw that clip, and like I had to get a fucking rowboat because like All the emotions
You just kicked your feet and giggled. He's just on your couch like,
like the fuck is happening in here?
I'm gonna be honest, man. We're gonna talk about Andor eventually, but I feel like there might have been a long line, after that. But I feel like a lot of people probably realized that they probably got more than they bargained for because he's in really good shape, folks. And like for him to get cardio in, that's got to be probably 50 minutes minimum.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a very athletic evening.
That's the point where you got to have like people tapping out.
Yeah.
And like a rotation.
He's like, the 10 of you come with me.
Exactly.
50 minutes is the foreplay, the act, and the aftercare, and now I'm in the shower and I might be asleep.
See, I don't know how much foreplay there's going to be. You can't get really a lot of cardio doing the foreplay. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit. I don't know how we got off the rails before we even got on.
Yeah, we never actually got on the rails. But I am really hyped to talk about these 3 episodes of Andor today, folks. Before we get too far into it, what did you guys think? You and I have been talking for a week, but what did you guys think just overall about this chapter?
Starting with me?
We'll start with you.
Oh, God, I think it's some of the best TV of 2025. I think it's absolutely freaking phenomenal. The way that it was handled, the way that it still felt relevant to things that are going on politically currently in our climate, the way that it seamlessly still felt Star Wars despite the fact that it was, very, politically relatable to other things we've experienced as a society. That's such a hard line to walk. To make something feel like Star Wars, but also like politically relevant. It's because here's a great example that I don't think did it great is Acolyte. I was talking with somebody about this, where I loved Acolyte, but they didn't feel like Star Wars at some points in that show, if that makes any sense. It just, I completely lost that it was Star Wars. And I just thought I was watching some, sci-fi drama type of thing. This manages to feel like Star Wars in every frame, but still be super, super good, relevant, a new story that we haven't dug deep into without, fucking the canon all the way up. I think it is some of the best Star Wars that I have seen come out of Disney.
When we talk about Ep 9, I definitely got to talk about the fucking the canon up thing. There's some discourse online, and I'm going to school you motherfuckers.
Yes, please do.
Who think that they broke canon here. They very mildly did it, but there's people that are acting like they really, truly did, fuck it up, and those people just don't know what they're talking about. But I want to go back to what you said about, this feeling Star Wars and, being so relevant to, our political climate today. It's crazy that all of this was written and shot over a year ago, and just how relevant it all is. But one of the aspects of the original trilogy and all of Star Wars has always been commentary on fascism and imperialism in general.
Yeah.
In much of the same way that almost all of Tolkien's works were also about that. And I think that this does a really good job of that. Also, feeling like Star Wars, and there's not a lightsaber or a Dark Lord, there is, but you don't see them. Yeah. They really, this is the most mature Star Wars gets, to where you don't have all these, the more fantastical elements, which, don't get me wrong, I love those elements of it, but there's also, I like all different kinds of, it's kind of just like superhero movies, right? It can be all kind of different genres. Star Wars is the same way. And I definitely think that as Star Wars went on, it bought more into those fantastical elements and left behind a lot of the social commentary and stuff like that. And I really love that kind of thing when it's done well. And I love that you brought up Acolyte, because this show and Acolyte are night and day in how they handle pretty much everything. The writing, it's like Acolyte had awesome lightsaber fights and a cool Sith guy, Darth Handsome over there, and it had a really cool fight at the end, and I loved all that really cool action and everything. But at the end of that show, you know, I felt hollow and like I wasted a lot of my time because that's all it had going for it, really, you know. Whereas this is kind of the opposite. Like, it doesn't need those things, you know, to work.
I 100% agree. And as a massive Diego Luna fan, from like way back in the day, I'm talking like Havana Nights, Narcos, like through the stuff. Every time I see that credits at the end, and it's like produced by Diego Luna and this and that, and I keep seeing his name, like my little fangirl heart just like swells. I'm like, I love, and then him at Star Wars Day at Disney. I just love how much he's embraced the community, because I wouldn't have Andor, I would not have guessed it. I would not have put it on my bingo card. Like, even with him doing Rogue One, I wouldn't be like, Diego Luna's going to become like a Star Wars daddy. No, I would have not guessed it in a million years, and I'm so happy about it.
The paycheck helps.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I also don't think the fandom gave a fuck about Cassian back then, for the most part.
No,
I didn't.
Diego had to work in season 1. I mean, work.
And he did.
To make people give a shit.
Because I'm going to tell you, when they announced all those Disney Plus shows they were going to do, and they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to do a Kenobi show, and we're going to do a Cassian Andor show. And I was like, you're going to do fucking what? Like, what's next? Are you going to come out with like a, you know, Bib Fortuna show? Like, that's, you don't know who that is, do you? Exactly, yeah. Like, he's the dude who answers the door at Jabba's palace with like the, like a Twi'lek. That's Bib Fortuna.
I for one would love to see his backstory.
I think a Boba Fett show would be cool as hell if it was done really well. Like, he's such a, like, not Boba Fett.
I was like, he has a show.
Oh my god, no, I'm sorry.
Django? Django Fett?
No, freaking who kidnaps Leia? The name
General Akbar. He deserves his own everything.
He's an admiral? Thank you.
Oh,
Admiral Akbar?
There you go.
Well, he has a cereal?
I was talking about General.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
thank you.
He ran for city council.
Yeah.
Probably didn't hear about it.
Yeah, you guys. So that's how well I know that character.
I see.
You guys don't.
I see.
Yeah, but I think it would be dope. I mean, there's so many characters I would watch a show on, honestly, if it was done well. And it wasn't just rinse and repeat. And, like, you actually got, like, new knowledge of planets and, like, political climates. And I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, the overall one of the many issues with, like, modern day Star Wars is that for it to be the biggest universe in, like, fiction, if you think about it on a grand scale, it's bigger than Marvel's, technically bigger than DC even. Like, it's a huge, huge universe. Huge world that they have to play in. It always felt so small to me because it always dealt with just a handful of people who have special magical powers for the most part.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it wasn't intriguing or interesting. It certainly was, except for when it wasn't. But the overall issue was that, like, it just feels so small. And it's like, I understand that the stakes are high and the bad guys are really fucking evil and the good guys need to really come together to make something happen. But man, it just always felt like it didn't feel like the universe was this lived-in place like they were telling us it was. And we get something like Andor, and it really helps to fill in all those blanks. It helps the worlds, this universe, to feel way more lived in. It helps it to feel like there are stakes and consequences to what these evil people are doing, you know? And it feels like, yes, I mean, I'm not going to say that, you know, this show feels realistic. What does that mean in a world like this? But it feels plausible, and I can get immersed in that. When I can believe what's happening and the reactions that take place, that kind of immersion is something that I think most storytellers would kill for. And right now, I think this season of Andor is doing that in spades, and is really, really impressive. I think, like, on a much different scale, maybe almost not even that comparable, but the closest thing I can think to compare it to is like what Marvel was doing in its prime, right? So like right after Endgame, and you had people who suffered the effects of the snapping, you know, and that would reverberate throughout various TV shows and other movies, and you got to see how that affected people on a smaller scale. It wasn't just this huge universal thing; it affected everybody. And I feel that Andor, this season, is really doing something very similar with that, where like we know that the Empire is evil and that they have this fascist regime, but now we get to see how that really impacts the common man. It's really tremendous right now, and I'm hoping that they can continue this through the end of the season.
Yeah, about what you said there about Star Wars overall, I think that is something that the fan base increasingly wants, like more and more, especially now. Like for me, I know that there's people that even Ewan McGregor has commented on a Kenobi season 2. Please don't fucking do that. Like season 1, the ball was dropped horribly. I feel like that for season 1 they were like, okay, we got Hayden Christensen and we got Ewan McGregor, so people are gonna watch this shit. It doesn't matter what we do. Go for it. And holy shit, so many problems. But you can go check out our review of that if you want to hear me expand on that.
And I feel like I'm on something with it, either an episode at least, and I'm probably defending it because I would watch the hell out of a season 2.
Yeah, no, we did it all in one go.
I don't think I'm there.
Yeah, I can't defend that shit at all. But Ewan McGregor was in it, so like
It had its moments.
Yeah, it did have some great moments.
Amazing lightsaber fight.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So does Acolyte. Yeah, I mean, it's, and the writing is about.
You cannot compare Kenobi to Acolyte, sir.
Not today. We don't have time, but I could. Yeah.
Matrix Reloaded has the best fight scenes of the trilogy, but it doesn't compare to the first one, though.
I've never seen any of the Matrixes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well.
I told my ex once, I was like, I haven't seen any of the Matrixes because I just don't like Tom Cruise. And he was like...
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, he was like, you're thinking of Mission Impossibles and you've got to confuse the Matrixes. I've not seen any of that stuff, so...
Wow.
As someone who really enjoys the Matrix, first two Matrix, the only two Matrix sequels, you might just want to watch the 1999 classic and then just be like, that was great.
I'll add it to my list.
Because you can
just watch the first one and leave it at that.
And just pretend like they didn't make any more. Yes. And if you do want to watch more, 2 and then 3, I enjoy those. They're not for everybody. I can't say they're objectively great, but I enjoy them. Superhero homie rule number 10, folks. Right. Mm-hmm. Like what you like.
Like what you like.
But there are no other Matrix movies.
Oh, no, there was the fourth one, remember?
Nope. Oh, you mean Animatrix. Animatrix was cool. Yeah, I liked that.
Okay. I feel like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. So I want Star Wars to move beyond there's this vast universe. I never want to go to Tatooine again. Mm-hmm. I actually want them to get completely out of the Skywalker era.
Please.
I want them to go far away from
it. But Star Wars is more than just one family.
Yes.
I know,
Star Wars has more than one.
Like, what do you want to see other than they're not going to go back and make the Clone Wars in live action.
That would be incredible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
Ewan McGregor's 50. To be honest, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but the girl that played the young Ahsoka could totally do it. She could carry that show. But Hayden Christensen can't. He's supposed to be 25. Yeah. Hello, fellow kids.
Yeah. Hello, fellow youth.
Not too much on my man now.
I'm just saying.
We can't pass for 20-year-olds.
Would I kill to see the three of them on screen? And I really do hate that we never got that right. That we never got to see Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and Rosario Dawson on screen together as those characters. Mm-hmm. I do hate that. I just don't know how you do that now. We are going to get an Ahsoka season 2. Maybe we'll get some Force Ghost. Or a flashback. They could always do a flashback. That would be incredible. But anyway,
I wouldn't mind seeing more Vader in the suit. Hayden in the suit. I'd like to see some Hayden in the suit in this series, but we'll see.
So I'm going to go and tell you, Tony Gilroy, we can talk about that too. He is possibly a Jedi, because this dude is resisting any urge to do anything like that, because he has so many opportunities here to, like, you know, Luke Skywalker is like fucking 17 right now. You know what I mean? They could put fucking Sebastian Stan in the outfit and anytime they want and just be like, oh, well, our characters had to drop by Tatooine for some reason. I love the fact that he is avoiding that. He could have put Palpatine in this show like 80 times.
Do you think he's going to do a
No,
Palpatine? No.
I do not think we will see any Star Wars characters that we have not already seen in this show. And I really applaud him for that.
No, I get it because it feels very original.
Yeah, but because if you write a great show, you don't need it. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I don't like stuff like that typically. I love when Marvel does all the cameos and stuff. And I typically love seeing like Star Wars kind of intermingle and have, like, you know, people show up. And I even loved the like wildly fucking weird CGI Carrie Fisher in Rogue One, you know. Tarkin was a little off-putting. Because, well, what they did for Carrie Fisher is, like, her daughter stood in for her, and then they just, like, CG'd the face. But, like, Tarkin was, like, completely, like...
built by the AI.
AI recreated, and he somehow looked more creepy and menacing than he did.
Maybe they were going for that. Did you know that Sebastian Stan, he said, I guess sometime recently, he goes, you know, I've heard, you know, like, apparently there is a group of people out there that really want me to step in and play Luke Skywalker. And Sebastian goes, and I would actually really love that. And he goes, you know, I think, you know, it'd be an honor, it'd be a privilege. I don't know how I feel about doing it while, you know, I mean, Mark Hamill is still here, but like if they wanted a younger Luke Skywalker for something, he goes, I'm in. But he goes, but the problem is, no one's fucking called me.
Yeah, that is the problem.
That's a major problem.
But no, I don't think they'll do it. I don't think we'll see R2 and 3PO. I don't think we'll. I mean, and honestly, they really could do that because R2 and 3PO are on Captain Antilles' ship literally from the end of Episode 3 until we see them in Episode 4. So, like, the urge to show that. They didn't even... So, when they land on Yavin at the beginning of this, and this is how we'll segue into actually talking about the episode... When they land on Yavin at the beginning of this, I was like scanning to see, like, are they going to have Hera walking around or Chopper, you know, doing the, and they didn't. And I was like, this man is a fucking Jedi, because if I was making this show, there's no way I'd be able to resist the urge to do that. You know?
No, absolutely. And you know what? You've converted me, because I kind of was hoping for like a little Palpatine pop. You know what I mean? But I see what you're saying. I do.
I don't think they will. I mean, like, it's kind of like, how could you have Palpatine really, truly, you know, be there, you know? Because, like, he's got to be livid right now. Yeah. He's going to fry somebody, you know?
For sure. Also, Palpatine Pop, that sounds like an Imperial produced soda.
Yeah. Yeah, get yours today.
Get yours today. Palpatine Pop.
They're serving it down at the Space Diner.
Now Palpatine Pop Plus with 157 grams of sugar.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I would die for a superhero homies trip to Batu.
Oh, man.
And getting the popcorn and the milk and sitting at
I'm not drinking no blue milk. I ain't doing it.
And riding the rides, and it would be so much fun.
I am interested in some of the new stuff they're doing now that they're moving away from sequel trilogy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have not ridden Rise yet, and it's a crime because I was there.
Yeah.
And then I was with a shitty group of people. Oh. It's my family. I'm sorry. Let me refrain. It wasn't a shitty group of people. My whole child was there, y'all. But I am a little bitter because I was overstepped, and I did not get to ride Rise.
Well, I also hear that the Guardians of the Galaxy ride is really good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, yeah.
Tron is amazing, too.
Oh, I've heard that as well. So, as we get into episode 7 here, when we reviewed episodes 4, 5, and 6, we had some issues with those. And I was like, well, maybe what they'll do next will justify some of that. I think we do kind of figure out here what the Saw Gerrera arc was trying to do. Is like, that's where we got to see Willman actually get radicalized.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was still like the most effective way to do that.
I think it goes back to what we pseudo joked about, which was they were like, they got Forrest Whitaker, so
yeah, if you got Forrest Whitaker, you give him an arc.
But no, I agree though. They did at least enough give us like a reason for those moments in the previous 3 episodes. With Willman, is that his name?
Yeah, Willman.
Mm-hmm. Willman. And I mean, yeah, so it served its purpose, but I don't know if it truly justified all of what we got in those previous episodes.
Yeah, but when we start this episode, first off, every week when I hear that Ferrex anvil and see the date go up or whatever, I always really love that. Mm-hmm. And the opening shot that we get here, this is what I've been waiting all season for this, and I felt like we didn't get a lot of movement in chapter 2, which was 4, 5, and 6 on this. It's like chapter 1, okay, we're rolling, and then chapter 2, there's a lot of things we had to get through in that, but I didn't feel like we were really getting to see the rebellion forming, like was kind of what the point was. But then when we open episode 7 with that shot of them flying in on Yavin, everybody recognizes the rebel base on Yavin. It's in the first movie. It's the big deal. It's in Rogue One heavily. And I was like, okay, we're on Yavin. Here we fucking go. Like, from the opening seconds of this episode, I'm sold. I'm here. I want to know what you're going to tell me. You know?
Yeah. I actually like chapter 2. I felt like it did a lot of good character work, especially with the relationship between Andor and Binks.
Yeah.
And their kind of flailing relationship with Luthen. Am I saying his name right?
Luthen? Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was Luthen or Luthien or something like that. And I feel like they did do, good work as far as characters go. There's just not a lot of action happening. A lot of political build-up and a lot of character work in chapter 2.
Well, our main issue in chapter 2 is like they kind of shot it like all the tension was going to be in like the heist or whatever on Gorman, but it was actually really all back at the art show or whatever with Mon and Krennic and all of them and Clea, and so that was kind of the thing with us. Is like the big build up to the Gorman operation or whatever. It didn't really work out, and we also what was her name? Damn, I feel bad about it now that I don't remember what her name was. Vel's partner.
Oh,
the brunette
that died.
Yeah, the one that died. Fuck.
See, y'all killed her last week, and now we don't even. Now she's been forgotten. But her death was silly to me.
Yeah.
And yeah. But
so Yamin.
In this episode, we're on Yavin. Cassian and Bix are living here, which I think is really cool. This is Rebellion HQ. And the first thing we get is Willman shows up, and you can tell this dude's totally different. Mm-hmm. He's completely radicalized, and that's why Luthen sent him to Saw. Because Saw is like the most radical of them all. Like he is like the rebel extremist. And Luthen's like, well, I'll seem cool and calm and collected compared to this motherfucker. So, and Willman is a soldier, man. Like you could tell whatever Luthen says, that's
he's
it.
Doing no questions asked.
Which is really some 4D chess when you think about it.
Luthen is constantly playing 4D chess.
Yeah.
And
he's about 5 steps ahead of most people.
I got to agree with that. And like the thing about it here too that I'll note is Luthen is not in 7 or 8 at all, but you can
his
feel him
is felt,
all through the episodes, So Willman is here, and he wants Cassian to go with him on another mission, and he wants to assassinate Dedra Meero.
Who needs to be assassinated? No.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Yep, we'll definitely talk about that.
The opinion is supported by the rest of the homies.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Cassian is kind of either way on it at this point. He wants to know what Will's been up to for Luthen, you know?
Yeah.
Because he knows that, like, Will is, like, fully bought in.
But before they go.
Yes. So.
I screamed
Which
during this scene.
Which part?
When Bix takes him to
the Force Healer.
Oh.
So, yeah, we definitely need to get into that. So
because we don't talk a whole lot about the Force in Andor.
No, well, something that we've mentioned too is like the odds of like, so nobody ever ran into a Sith, right? I mean, they were basically hidden for hundreds of years. And even though there were like a couple hundred Jedi at the height of the Republic, there's thousands of planets, star systems. The odds of you running into one were still really slim. Like, people knew about the Jedi, but it was very easy for Palpatine to erase that shit. It's only been like 20-something years here, and Palpatine has basically convinced everyone, like, oh no, that was just a myth, you know? And the people who do know about the Jedi think they tried to overthrow the Republic, you know? Because that's all been propaganda smeared.
Yep.
So, you know, having that the rebellion has a Force healer is an interesting thing, but it is something that they would have. There'd be nobody to train them, so, you know, they probably wouldn't know very much about what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I love that we get into the fact that, like, Cassian obviously fears this woman or, like, doesn't believe in her and is very skeptical. Because I think a lot of people think when they think of the rebellion, they think of the Jedi or whatever. And it just kind of, like, makes you realize there were so many different, like, reasons and causes and strongholds on why people were rebelling. Obviously, like, evil. But you know what I mean? It wasn't just... It makes it so much bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That this person who doesn't believe in the Force, thinks it's all bullshit, whatever, is leading a whole rebellion that we watch in Rogue One. Like, it gives him so much, like, chew, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
There's a discussion later on between Clea and Cassian, which is... They actually have very little screen time together, ever. And it's a little later on, but it's important to bring it up here. You know, Cassian says, I need to start making my own decisions. And Clea says, I thought that's what we were fighting for.
Right.
You know?
It's so good.
There's so many dope lines in these 3 episodes. Like, the writing on these 3 is fucking incredible.
I would agree.
I jotted down tons and tons of just different, like, one-liners and stuff that were just so on point from these, and that's one of them.
I commend you for that, because I think I watched the entire episode, like, I didn't write down shit.
I had to go back. The first time,
did not write down shit.
The first time I watched it, I watched all the way through in one sitting last Tuesday night, just glued to it. I think it was like 2 a.m. when I wrapped, and like I was just like shaking when I got done watching these. And then I had to watch them again yesterday and today with like a calmer head, and I could take notes and shit.
I watch them Wednesday morning while I'm working in the background because it's past my bedtime when I would finish them.
Yeah.
And so I always know when it's a good chapter because I get a text from Caleb talking about, did you watch it? Text me after you watch it.
Well, you got to be careful with that with Caleb, because if he texts you right after he watches it, it's either really good or it's really bad.
Yeah, if you don't hear anything, then it's probably okay.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, if it's like, you know, Andor comes on at 9 and you get a message from me at 12, hey, you seen Andor yet? It's one way or the other. You know, that's either like a 9 and up or like a 4 and under. Like,
it's like he texted me immediately after he watched
Last of Us
4, 5, and 6.
Oh, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, and I was like, hey, dog, you you watched Andor yet?
Because it's funny. I asked him a question when we reviewed episodes 1, 2, and 3.
He did.
And I asked him, I said, would you have been interested in seeing 5 seasons of Andor, which I guess was the original idea.
Yeah.
And, you know, he mulled it over and he was like, I don't know, man, not impossible. As soon as
After 4, 5, and 6, he said, nah, dog.
I was like, hey, man, so yeah, that question you asked me, listen, if these were the highlights of what would have been season 3 of Andor, I'm good.
But now, after 7, 8, and 9...
Oh, I could have watched 2 seasons of this.
There you go, see?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. But I actually think that these episodes are perfect like this.
No, I agree. I am super glad they made it 2 seasons because I think we're going to get a lot of awesomeness in a condensable... I just made up all kinds of words, guys.
You do it all the time.
A condensed time frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to drag it out. They're not going to make it 5 seasons long. And that's awesome.
If Rogue One wasn't already a prequel, like, you could release these 3 episodes as, like, part 1, and Rogue One is part 2, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I'd be very interested to see, like, the metrics on Disney Plus for how many people are going to watch Rogue One after.
I am. I'll be one of them. It will be an immediate play.
I watched it right before this season because, like, I watched through season 1 when we recapped it.
Yeah.
And then I watched Rogue One right after that. And it's very interesting because in very early on in that movie, they go to Yavin and, like, fucking Mon Mothma and Cassian Andor are just standing there together. And you're like, well, we haven't seen any of that yet. This, so it's like, well, we're going to figure out how we get here.
Yep.
And we do.
Yeah, and we've talked about it. We'll cover this. This is a good ending question, so go back.
Yeah. So we get to go to Gorman now. And the stuff from last time is finally paying dividends here. I really love that they invented this planet and this culture, and it all feels really, like, legit, you know?
I mean, the language even.
Yeah.
Like, it has some hints of, like, French. I pick up a lot of, like, Portuguese or French.
You kind of get that from the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it still feels uniquely Gorman, almost like it could be a real fucking place.
And I mean, I know you lived there for a while, so I know you got a little more insight on this, but the language actually feels kind of German to me, too, a little bit.
Absolutely. There's some back of the throat with some of their words, a lot of going on, you know?
And I'm sure that was not by accident. Like,
oh, no.
Given the subject
Given
matter
the political
here.
climate, no.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something that is often reused, and recycled. You know what I mean? Just because it feels natural, if you would.
So Cyril is, like, on his way to go see Dedra, and he is, like, looking around, and even Cyril, who was like the you're a good boy soldier, you know, is eyeing this Imperial propaganda. Like, what the fuck? Like, literally, that's not what's happening at all.
Yeah.
Kudos to that actor, because, like, that scene where he's walking and he's looking at everything, like, in his eyes, you see the full breakdown he's having. And he's like, I gotta talk to somebody.
He is really good at, like, at the, like, body acting.
Yeah, because he does a lot of that in this.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't say anything, but something comes across his face that tells you what's going on.
The actress that plays Dedra is also really good at it.
She's really good at the I smell shit face.
Yes, the bitch face.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yes.
I saw an interview with the two of them the other day, and, like, that's just her face acting.
Yeah, RBF.
She got that heavy RBF. It's like she walked in for the audition, and she was like, can I have a script? They were like, you got it.
You got it. You got the part.
And she was like, yeah. And they were just like, oh, yeah. So Cyril is definitely smelling that something's not quite right here. And he goes to see her, and he's like, who's this fucking military commander dude in your office? And obviously he can't even walk in her office. Like, her second in command is like, no, she's busy, whatever. And she's on the phone with, she's on the comms with Partagaz. She's on Skype with Partagaz. And, you know, he's like, hey, listen, there's no way around this. There's no replacement for this substrate that's in their atmosphere, or that's in their planet. And so yeah, we're coming on in, and
start mining.
Yeah, and it's bad news for them. And she's like, yeah, so you're dropping mining equipment already? Like, this is not a good look or whatever. And he's like, no, we're done with all that. Like,
we don't care how it looks at this point.
and she's like, kind of like, what the fuck? And, you know, because for her, it's like, this is her baby. This was her project. She was on the Axis thing, like the hunting Luthen. They took her off of that and put her on this, like, oh, you're going to manage it. You're going to be in charge. And now she's out of control. Like, it's out of her control here. And, you know, they've just sent in this military commander. And, you know, he's like, oh, no, don't worry. Like, this is everybody. Even the Emperor knows all the work you did on this. Like, you're going to get a promotion. You're going to get to come back to Coruscant. And, you know, And she's like, oh, okay. And then when she sees Cyril and he's like, what the fuck? Y'all are dropping mining equipment, like, and he's like talking about this naval bombing that they apparently just had. And he's like, yeah, all my sources, because they've embedded him in the rebellion here. Mm-hmm. He's like, all my sources say it's bullshit. They didn't attack that place. And she's like, she just kind of brushes him off. And she's like, Cyril, we're going to get to go home. Go home and pack up or whatever. And this is the first point where he's like, what are we actually doing here?
Yeah.
Because he's been lied to from jump about what they were really doing here. Mm-hmm. She knew everything. And we actually talked about that last week about like,
what would Cyril do?
Yeah.
If shit hit the fan, we had this exact conversation.
Yeah.
Because like I had always like kind of theorized that with Cyril, like there's obviously a lot that he and Dedra had in common, so you can totally buy them as a couple. But like the differences that they had in my mind were everything.
Absolutely, they were like worlds apart in some of their things. So strange couple.
I think that like Dedra, she seems like she is goal oriented. Your A-type personality. Like she wants to do the thing that's going to get the objective accomplished. Whereas Cyril, on the surface, he seems like that. But if you actually look at what he does, he's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing to do. It just so happens that for whatever reason, he thinks that, okay, the way that, the ISB or whatever is doing things is the right way because he's been so propagandized his entire life.
Right, he's trying to impress his mama.
Yeah. But
and keep in mind, he's hunting Cassian because he fucking killed 2 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh yeah, well, we're going to take corporate security and go to Ferrex and, whatever. And like, it went really horribly and his life kind of spiraled out of control after that.
I'm sure that won't come back up.
I'm sure it won't come back up like in the next episode. But like the way that like all of that like kind of played out, it's like he always believed he was doing the right thing. And like here, I think because of how he feels about Dedra, he's been trying to convince himself. But now it's just the writing is on the wall. Mm-hmm. They embedded him in the rebellion here, and he's like, well, these are good people. Like they're just trying to survive. Like I don't know why the Empire keeps doing this shit.
Yeah.
And then he has to go talk to Dedra and gets a completely different story that he knows is bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I think we got to remember it's been a year that they've been here. So like he's had to every single day think about this and process this.
And interact with these people.
Right, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, even if you are super, radicalized, when you interact with, like, the enemy on a personal level like that, you're going to start seeing them as people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It happens all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's how Stockholm Syndrome and all that happens, you know what I mean? Because your captor or your oppressor becomes humanized to you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's why like, every racist has, like, a black friend or like a Hispanic friend. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you hate those people? What about that guy? Oh, that's one of the good ones,
Yeah.
But because that's like the only person of that, like whatever that race or nationality that they know personally.
They've humanized that person, but they've also compartmentalized their racism. It's
exactly
the weirdest shit.
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
And I mean that's exactly what's happening here, just from a different standpoint. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about this kiss that she gives him. It is so awful and just forced because she cares about him, but she also knows what horrible, like how much she's misled and lied to him.
Yep.
In service of this mission. And she literally just does it out of desperation because she has no words to explain herself.
Exactly, yeah.
And it was hard to watch this. This is not like the worst interaction they're going to have, but it definitely set the tone for like what would be a bad interaction for them to have.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the kiss had the desired effect that she wanted it to.
No,
absolutely not.
I don't think he wanted it, and I don't know that she really even meant it. Like she just couldn't explain herself.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Force Healer scene a little bit back on Yavin.
And Bix seems really sold on it. And I'm trying to like wrap my head around kind of what in her story that I know would make her believe in the Force so much.
I don't think it's that. I think so. These 3 episodes to me really brought Bix together, and because I've kind of always felt like she was just kind of along for the ride to an extent, and I'm really glad. And after the first 3 episodes of the season, I was like, is she just here to suffer empirical trauma like constantly? And I'm really glad that that's not the case. I think they really bring Bix full circle here, is that she, like Willman, is all in on the rebellion.
Yes.
And fuck the Empire.
And episode 9.
When we get into 9.
Yeah, really.
Oh.
Sense that.
Yeah, but like here, I think that's the full thing is like Cassian seems fish out of water here on Yavin. He's here because Bix is here. I don't think he would be here if it wasn't, because you look at the whole thing from the very beginning of Andor season 1, he's always hated the Empire, right?
Yes.
But he always thought the rebellion was...
Right, he was never full sent on Luthen and his people either.
Right, and he definitely isn't now. I mean, him and Luthen are estranged here.
Oh, yeah.
And you see that too when he takes the ship to go... Is he going to Yemen with Moon? The scene where he goes to get on the ship and the guy's like, hey, it's not much longer. You're going to be able to just do whatever you want.
Yeah, I actually, I wrote a line about that here. When he's leaving, that's General Draven. He's actually in Rogue One. The guy that plays him, his name is Alistair Petrie. Petre? I hope I'm saying that right. The range on this dude, if you guys have never seen a show called Sex Education, he plays like the most ridiculous, like bumbling, like older white male father kind of, and not kind of like an unintentional Al Bundy kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like he's just the most white bread, basic. You can tell his wife, you know, never had an orgasm from him, and like, you know, and like he can't relate to his kid at all, and like he's that kind of character. Yeah. And so like to see him playing like this kind of commanding role, like believably, and also like that kind of role, right, was like really just, I was like, the range on this motherfucker. He's really good in that show though.
But I loved kind of the insinuation that Cassian has there, where he's like, when he tells him like it's not too much longer, you're gonna be able to just take a plane and go, and he's like, kind of like, brother, then what are we fighting for? Now you're going to be telling me what I can and can't do.
Yeah, I love the line there he gives too. He says, the day I need permission to come and go, I'm gone.
Yes. Yeah. 100 times. That was the exact line. I knew it was like insinuated, but that's the exact line, and it's so freaking good because it shows also Cassian's issues with the rebellion. Like, that's why him and Luthen are estranged. Look, you know, it's different masters, if you would.
Yeah.
Even when the Force healer says to Bix like that Cassian is a messenger and that there's someplace he needs to be, and she says, and like Bix is like right there with her the whole time until she says maybe the place he needs to be is with you, and she's like,
nah, not him.
That's not it. Yeah. She's like, actually, this is where he needs to be. And as we already know as the audience, like, yeah, there is somewhere he needs to be. It's not going to go well for him personally. No. But, I mean, without Cassian, they probably don't bring down the Empire.
Nope.
So, like, it is all going to work out for the rebellion, but not for him. Which is...
And I kind of love the fact that we know that. Like, I kind of love the fact that Rogue One came out first.
Yeah.
And now we're getting Andor. Because it's like getting episode 4, 5, and 6, and then getting episode 1, 2, and 3. Because you know what I mean? And you're waiting for it, and you're on the edge of your seat. And you're like, when's this motherfucker going to start killing younglings? I'm ready. What's going to be the thing that tips the hat?
They do this in a really good way, and they avoid what I call Gothaming. I don't know if you ever saw the TV show Gotham.
No, sir, I missed that one.
But, well, you didn't. The whole show is literally just wink and nod. Yeah. It's like this person is going to be this.
This person's going to be the Riddler.
Yeah.
This person's definitely going to grow up to be Penguin. And this is... It just brought in all of Batman's rogue galleries. And it was all just like a... Making a nudge. Hey, you know who this guy's gonna be, right?
Now, was the redhead from Shameless like the Riddler guy or something? Joker.
He was the proto Joker.
I do remember seeing like a reel or something where he was in Joker makeup and stuff, and I was like, he would do a good Joker.
And he wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it's just the show was.
Can't do nothing with that.
Yep. Yeah, the show was horrible. I was in Hall H. At San Diego Comic-Con, and like this is like, the thing you stand in line for like 24 hours to get into.
Okay.
And when the Gotham panel came up, like 2/3 of the place, including myself, got up and walked out.
Oh my God. See, I couldn't do that just because like I would not want to be on that stage and watch 2/3 of your crowd get up and leave. Yeah. So I don't care if it was the freaking cast of the Boogeyman. I had that goddamn seat.
I had been in there for a long time. Okay. I was hungry. I was ready to get out of there. Yeah. So
they don't Gothaming their cast here.
Yeah, they're not Gothaming here.
No. I think that it's really brilliant the way they did it.
So 2 things I want to touch on before we move to 8. Number 1 is we see. Cyril, he meets up with I forget her name, Enza, I think is her name. She's like the leader, I guess, of the Gorman rebels, and he's like spitting the same bullshit. We think this might be some outside agitators, blah blah blah. Can you give me something to take back to them? And she just is just like, you're full of shit, dude. She smacks the shit out of him.
Yes, she does.
And they've figured Cyril out, by now. And also we see the Empire starts to bring their young recruits in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew immediately it was not going to go well for these guys.
No.
I was like, these guys are expendable to the Empire.
Yeah, that's saying something.
And we about to figure out just how expendable they are.
Yeah. Seeing those guys come in and like right off the bat, like the way that they're being talked to or talked about, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna go too well for y'all. No. I don't think you're gonna have a good time here.
No, hope you wrote your mama.
But this episode ends with Cassian and Wilman, and they're getting to Gorman. Cassian is undercover as his reporter persona. Listen, Diego Luna pulls off these fucking alternate personas like effortlessly.
Diego Luna is the most, I swear, underrated actor of... I don't know if I would call him my generation, because like I kind of grew up watching him. Like his first movie that I remember really seeing him in came out while I was in high school and he was young. He was probably like 19, 20. I don't know how old he is. I think he's in 40, 41 or something like that. I have seen him play the craziest variants of roles in my lifetime of movie watching, from a drug dealer, like the guy he did in Narcos or whatever, to like a young Cuban boy who's trying to ballroom dance, to what was he in Frida? Gosh, he played a lover of Frida. Like he can sing. Did Coco.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the voice of Coco, right? Am I thinking of the right movie?
No, that's him, yeah.
Okay. He's singing and doing animation. Like, I think he's just a brilliant, brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And he's just so ugly, I just happen to... the freaking... How good of an actor he is just covers it.
It just makes up for it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that first scene where, Bix just comes outside, she's like, take off your shirt.
Did nothing for me.
Yeah. Did nothing for you.
Why is the Sahara Desert, friends?
Yeah, you fast forward by it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't need to see that.
Gross.
This better not awaken anything. This whole, this episode to me, like, perfectly just, the tension just escalates through this whole episode, where you can tell that it's about to boil over. And at the end, this is where we get Wilman and Cassian. They're on Gorman now. And it's interesting when you watch all of this, thinking back to the discussion that Luthen and Cassian had about it, where Cassian's like, yo, this is going to go badly for all of these guys. And Luthen, from the start, knew that. Like, I don't think Luthen 100% knew it was going to go bad, but Luthen was like, well, if it goes well, then it's good. And if it goes bad, I can't remember the exact line that Stellan Skarsgård had, but I think he said, if they burn out, it's going to burn so brightly.
That is Stellan Skarsgård.
Did you just put that together?
Jesus Christ.
Did. Because I don't know why, but I expect him to be like a large man.
Oh, he is a large man.
No, you mean like a Dune.
Yeah, I expect him to be like...
Ace had the same...
Like a 6'6" motherfucker. Like,
that possibly can fly.
Exactly. That's in my head what I think of like Stellan Skarsgård. Also because of his offspring are such massive humans.
Yeah.
That like I think of him in this huge way. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, even in the show, like, he towers above most people.
Yeah.
He does, but they do it in a, like, they must film it in a way where it's not, like, a slap in the face. Like, it's not, they're not making it an obvious thing. Like, that's not a characteristic. I don't feel like, or am I crazy?
Well, he's next to Genevieve O'Reilly a lot, and she's a tall, for a woman, she's pretty tall.
Right. I'm like, there's got to be a reason why it didn't slap me in the face that this was a large man.
But he towers over Vel or Clea. Yeah.
I'm sure he towers over Cassian.
Yeah, he does.
Diego's
He's
like a small man.
Yeah, Diego Luna comes up to like his chin.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And also, go ahead.
I was gonna say also like the voice is very indistinguishable. Like,
Absolutely.
You can pick out his voice out of anyone.
Have you seen Chernobyl?
You know my feelings about does the dog die?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that.
So I can't watch.
You can't watch Chernobyl.
One, unfortunately,
no, you cannot.
The people wouldn't affect me at all, guys. The animals.
Yeah, I forgot
I
about
knew the
that.
people wouldn't offend you because when we had you on the podcast some time ago, you had no problem like the younglings being offed.
Yeah,
you missed PowerPoint night, friend.
I
did a whole PowerPoint
on
Anakin, villain, nay, hero.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Anyway, moving on. Chernobyl probably has, for like anybody who has an aversion to seeing animal violence, Chernobyl's probably the worst thing you could ever watch.
So I will never watch.
Legit. Yellowstone I thought was bad until you see the Chernobyl thing. And then then you realize as you're watching the Chernobyl thing that, not only is this awful to watch, I fast forward through that shit when I rewatch it again.
I couldn't even do Fallout.
Yeah. But here's the thing about that too.
Chuck the puppies.
In Fallout, none of that shit happened. In Yellowstone, none of that shit happened. In Chernobyl, all of that shit happened.
Actually happened.
Yeah. Exactly. So, so episode 8. We've been waiting for this for a while.
Long while.
Knew it was coming.
But it's here. And I honestly, to me, I really didn't think they were going to do it this soon. There's a lot of things where I was like, oh, we have to get those in season 2. And they just kind of poured them all out on the table here in these 3 episodes. And in an incredible way.
This is season 2, darling.
No, but I meant in all of season 2.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about this at the end, but I'm not entirely sure what the fuck they're going to do tomorrow. But yeah, so, the Empire is calling all their employees in. They don't want anybody out and about. That should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
And
the second that you see the police leave the streets is generally, so good.
Whoever was like, oh, they're opening up the plaza, I was like, no. And Cassian too, Cassian's here, and the innkeeper remembered him.
Yeah.
And he's part of the rebellion. And I actually loved too that the innkeeper dropped the line, the rebellions are built on hope, because Cassian repeats that in Rogue One.
Yes, he does.
Oh, wow.
Must have stuck with them. I remember that.
Yep. And I really liked that And you have to be careful with something like that too, that it doesn't come across as cheesy.
Yeah, for a pop or whatever, like we talked about with the Gotham thing. But I didn't feel that way. I felt like that was organic, and that was probably where Cassian had heard it. And in the moment that he says it in Rogue One, that is a moment that he's thinking of, which is this massacre.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
it's all about delivery in that kind of aspect, because like they could have had the music swell and the camera zoom in on the guy, and then
he's like,
yeah,
these are built on.
built on.
And then the camera pans over to Cassian, and he's just visibly affected by the move. You know?
And then he pulls out a notepad and writes it down. I have so little faith in Disney when it comes to Star Wars, especially like in like 2018. Can't imagine why. But I was very certain that the moment in Empire when Leia like kisses Han and says "I love you" and he says "I know." When they did the Solo movie, I was like, Disney is going to give that a background. They're going to have that happen in the Solo movie. And they didn't, and I respect them for that. But I was like, they're going to fucking do it.
They didn't think about it, that's why.
You know what? I probably am still giving them too much credit. Yeah. Somebody's probably watching this now like, oh, we should have.
Shit.
Damn it, we missed
Kathleen
one.
Kennedy's like, damn it. There's no way Kathleen Kennedy watches or listens to this show.
Oh, maybe at one point she did, but quickly
I was going to say, not anymore.
It could have been any episode she listened to as well.
Right. It could have nothing to do with Star Wars or her.
Yeah. We just be in the middle of being like, yeah, man, 1994 Fantastic Four was really something. Fuck Kathleen Kennedy. So anyway.
And she's like, wait, back that up?
You're terrible.
But so we also find out here that like Willman this is where he's been, you know.
Yes.
Cassian had him here at Ground Zero. I do feel like at least him and Luthen were legit trying to help them, like unfortunately for Luthen, the ISB and the Empire Krennic kept this plan just to the people that were in that room in episode 1 of season 2. So like his person at the ISB doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
So Luthen can't be one step ahead of everybody on this. Like if Luthen had known the real plan, he probably would have just been like, let's get these motherfuckers out of here.
Yeah.
Well, we hope.
We hope. Honestly, when it's all said and done, Luthen probably is thanking his lucky stars for this shit.
Because, I mean, it's unfortunate, man, what happens,
but it's
the aftermath.
building his rebellion.
Yeah.
Boy, is it like a lit match on an open flame.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how he said it would go if it went badly. He's like, yeah, well, but if it burns, it's going to burn bright as hell, So we get a scene here where Cyril, so this is early in the episode, Cyril is on his way to the building, and he encounters Caro Rylance, who is like the Enza's dad.
Yeah.
He's like the first person you meet on Gorman, who kind of was, I guess he's like the original person who was like, the Empire is fucking us over or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, he's lived through the Imperial occupation like his whole life, basically. So he's a little less, I think, extreme than some of the other people, the younger folks in the rebellion here. But I love this scene with him and Cyril, And we're not really meant to get to know these characters super well. Like, they give us just enough of these characters to where we understand where they're coming from and who they are. But this scene with Cyril where, Cyril tries to spit the propaganda at him, and he's like, they're dropping in mining equipment. Like, what's in our ground that you guys want or whatever? And he's like, oh, well, that's just a rumor. And the guy says, like, the fact that you would think I believe that this even worth you saying it to me. Mm-hmm. Like, he's basically saying to Cyril, like, you don't even believe it. Yeah. And I think this is like the breaking point for Cyril when he realizes like what he's done here, like what he has been used to do
for the past year.
Yeah. And he goes directly to Dedra to express that. When he gets to the building, though, they immediately put him in a room
with some
droids.
Yeah.
And these are KX series droids.
I knew. Okay, so I don't know as much lore So coming into this episode, I didn't know, like, I knew about the Gorman Massacre, but I didn't know about the Gorman Massacre, okay?
That was most people.
And that was the turning point for me where I knew it was about to go as south as it could go, is when I saw those canine droids in there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to see, I mean, we're not there yet, but to see how they fuck people up.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like... So obviously we knew that we were going to get K2SO in this series. And so like I was watching it with the homie K, and these droids like start looking around or whatever, and like there's the one that just kind of like pokes his head out at him. I was like, that's him. That's the one. But I was like, well, clearly like though these motherfuckers are super dangerous right now.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, Cassian's here trying to get a shot on Meero. Cyril is seeing everything unraveling and whatnot. The Gormans have now marched on the square and they're chanting and everything. And the way that this all was shot,
so beautifully,
it was incredible. I think the acting of all the like extras and stuff that they got to fill this square up was awesome.
Yes.
Especially when they started singing like their song or whatever.
Exactly. There were points where like I know I said this feels inherently Star Wars throughout, and I do believe that. But there were definitely points where it kind of transcended that a little bit for me and like felt very real political rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this was the tension was so thick in these moments because you just know that shit's about to pop off here, and like at this point we've spent enough time with the Gormans to also see them as like people. And not just, you know, another name or another planet with another, you know, group of people or whatever. Like they felt like real people here now. And so like when they start with the singing and all that, it's like, oh man, yeah, like the fictional anxiety is rising high right now because you're like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. And then they send this squad of FNGs, as we've, you know, found in the last episode, these new guys. They're like, go out and patrol the crowd. They're just asking for something to happen. Because, like, honestly, that crowd probably would have stayed out there for a while, but they would have dissipated after a while. Mm-hmm. They sent them out there to agitate the situation because they needed them to pop off and do something.
Yeah. And they had that sniper.
Yeah, and then it gets to this moment where like the tension rises and rises, and then they shoot their own people. Which, of course, I mean,
it's happened time and time again. It's not just believable.
Yeah, I mean, this has happened. This kind of thing has happened in America.
Exactly.
Where like the police have gone into peaceful protests and turned them into riots.
Yes.
You know, that it happens all the fucking time. This is that.
It's exactly that. And it's an old playbook, but it checks out.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And that's what we get here, and it escalates, and they shoot this guy, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yep.
And this is the moment that the Empire can do what they came to do. And I will say that I was, even though we all know Cassian lives,
yes,
having him be on the ground here and the way they shot all of this, it made my anxiety fucking spike for this character that I know is going to live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just like, dog, you don't want to be here. Like, out of everywhere in the galaxy right now, this is like the absolute place you don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. And just to see like how everything goes down is so fucking crazy, right? Because you can see how the Empire, they can justify killing the people who are now fighting back.
Yeah.
But the people who are trying to run for safety, them getting gunned down is like so much harder.
Yeah, but obviously they don't want like witnesses and things. They need to be able to tell their tale, which we see. And this was just shot so fantastically. And not to get too deep for you guys, but
there is no too deep.
Okay.
Except
So,
for balls deep.
especially
because you can't go any deeper than that.
There you go.
I think Yoda said that.
But the way that it was shot, and especially towards the end of the actual massacre part, there was a feeling. Like you felt that loss.
It's frantic, yeah.
The way that it was filmed, like, made you feel it. And that's really hard to do. Have you ever been somewhere like those grounds? Like where something truly, truly horrible has happened and walked those grounds. So, like, I've been to Dachau, which is a concentration camp in Germany. And I've been to the Red Coat prison underneath Edinburgh Castle. And there is a fucking cold vibe the minute you walk there. And this, like, it expressed that through film. I thought it was really, really well done. And I can remember, like, getting, like, a shiver watching the, like, fade scene when it's, like, showing all of the bodies and things like that. And I felt that unless I was physically there in, a long time.
They did an incredible job at conveying this. And the crazy thing about it is, like, this is the second super fucking tragic thing to happen here.
Like almost the exact same spot.
There's already a monument here from where the Empire killed a bunch of fucking people here before.
Yep.
This shit out in the square goes really crazy. They haven't sent the droids out yet, but, like, at this point, it's like the stormtroopers that could aim, and which is horrifying, and like the rest of these imperial troops, and they've got the populace surrounded, and this whole place is just chaos now. And Cassian's like, yeah, man, I came here at the wrong fucking time. Like, this is a bad time to go fucking vacation on Gorman.
Yeah, for sure.
And, the whole time he's trying to get his shot in, and the way they shoot the Cassian stuff, especially, like, the camera's, like, right up on him. So, like,
you're expecting something
tight.
to, like, happen to him.
Yeah.
It makes you, even though like you said, it's not going to.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The way it's shot makes you feel like it is.
And I mean, we don't know that Willman is going to live,
No.
And he was in there with the Gorman rebels.
This lady was there.
Yeah, exactly. So, while this is escalating, Cyril finally gets in there to see Dedra. And this is where the shit pops off. And let me tell you, like, the intensity of this scene was crazy. Just to go ahead and put it out there, don't condone domestic violence in any way, shape, or form. But I feel like murdering a whole planet full of people, if there was going to be a justification, it should probably be on the list. I'm just saying. Like,
bitch deserved to be slapped.
Oh, my God. She probably deserved for Cassian to shoot her in the head.
Oh, yeah.
There's the part where he's like, there's an armada out there. If you tell me it's a rumor, I'll throw you out the window.
Yeah.
And he meant that shit.
He meant that shit.
He said it with his whole chest.
I turned the corner on Cyril hard in this episode for a minute. Because, like, I was like, there's no way they're going to redeem this fucking guy. But, like, nah, like, he was pissed.
Yeah.
That he had been used and that, like, he knew that everything that had been going on was wrong, and, like, just how sickening it was for him that the Empire would do this, and that he was instrumental in it. You know.
I mean, all this time, and then, like, for it to come from someone who he trusted.
Yeah, it's like sipping this Kool-Aid, and then you get to the bottom of this glass of Kool-Aid, and you realize there's a fucking bug at the bottom, and you're like, my whole glass is contaminated, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, that feeling that you've been played for a fucking fool, and this was just acted masterfully.
It was. I really like the actor for that character specifically in this show.
He did a great job, like, just an incredible job at playing this character, and Dedra also.
Oh yeah,
because she's the good soldier, right? Like, she's all in on the Empire, and she knew that what they were doing here from jump. Does she regret it now? Possibly, but it's too late. It
is. That's exactly it. It's too late to be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You had multiple oh shit opportunities. Now that train left.
It's crazy because I liked her and hated him in season 1, and they managed to do the double turn. You know,
and that's good writing.
It is,
in my opinion.
Yeah. Because, like, now I'm sitting there like, hoping Cassian shoots her in the face.
No kidding. Yeah. I'm like, every time that little red dot hits her, I was like,
take the shot.
Yeah.
You've got it. It's never going to get better.
Yeah. Shoot that man. And this is where like the shit just goes crazy outside. The scenes here were hard to watch, even though you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. It was watching a car wreck, you know. When those droids come out, man,
you know it's over.
The scene where Enza like gets like she's getting her and her friends are getting some shots in on the stormtroopers, and they send the droids out, and like seeing her try to get away from that KX droid, and like when it gets to her, this is a straight up horror scene.
Yeah.
And like you're like, okay, well, you know, this droid is probably gonna kill her or whatever, and it just effortlessly just yeets her across the courtyard, and the thud that her body hits with, like the force of it was just awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty fucking sickening, and because it was just, I think it was just like a nonchalant backhand that she got hit with.
Yeah.
And she flies.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
No, he didn't even hit her. He picked her up because she was on the ground.
Okay, yeah.
And he just, in one motion, just picked her up and
That's
just,
right, yeah, and I was like,
no, it was super powerful, like all of it. And there was no cats murdered, so I was fine, but it was powerful.
That first person that got like mafia kicked into that statue or whatever,
that was crazy.
They died instantly.
Oh, you hope so.
Yeah.
One would hope.
Yeah, like this whole scene was fascinatingly gruesome.
Yeah. Also, you know, Cassian is about to take the shot, and here comes Cyril.
Freaking doofus.
Holy fuck, this fight was so raw and brutal.
So good.
Cassian was like, who the fuck is this guy?
So I want to talk about that because the whole like culmination of Cyril's arc here, right, is like, so him and Cassian, like, he sees Cassian, and he's been so fixated on this motherfucker.
Yes.
Cassian Andor is like this dude's whole fucking life. Like, we have to stop Cassian Andor. And he sees him, and they just immediately fucking get into it. And I love everything about this fight scene. I love how it was shot. Like, they didn't do a bunch of cuts and shit. It was raw because Cyril can't fight.
Yeah.
But he's crazy. So, like, you know, Cassian is, like, trained, but you can't really train to fight this fucking crazy ass.
And also,
fucking...
he got blindsided as well. And so, like, he's trying to get his bearings about him. There's so much chaos going on in the background. Cyril is fixated on nothing but Cassian. Cassian is, he's fixated on, well, should I have a job to do? There's this fucking massacre going on around me. And who the fuck is attacking me?
Right.
Yeah, he's like, you know, fucking just gets hit in the face by this fucking guy. And he's like, did I fuck this guy's wife? Like, what is happening right now?
He's trying to fight a trailer park meth addict, and he's got Dr. Tab in his pocket.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. He's like, I only been to this planet one time. I was only here for like 12 hours. What did I have done to this guy? And like, that's the crazy thing at the end is like, you know, the bomb goes off and like Cyril gets fucking wrecked. But he gets Cassian's gun and he points it at him. And Cassian, after all of this shit, after all of this, you know, build up to Cyril to this moment, Cassian doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah.
And it's just this ultimate, like, just the reason he hesitates there is like he's realizing that like literally his entire life, like all of it has just been, he's just been somebody else's fucking pup. You know, none of it has amounted to anything. Like this is like his ultimate adversary, and Cassian doesn't even remember him.
It's a bit of Thanos and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
like you took everything from me. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Except this wasn't really shot for laughs, you know.
I wouldn't say that was, but yeah.
I cracked up in the theater at that.
That was pretty deep.
The Scarlet Witch thing was deep, but like the way that Josh Brolin delivered the line was always made me chuckle.
Yeah.
And then here comes Caro. Enza's dad, and he just fucking brutally executes Cyril here.
Yes, he does. And now Cassian's also like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. He's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck was this guy? Do you know?
Just get me the hell off of Garmin, man.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't want to be here in the first goddamn place.
Man, yeah, that whole fight scene, like you said, though, it was just so raw and gritty and real. Because, like, some of the best fight scenes is when you remember who these characters are and what their capabilities are.
Right.
You know?
And going back to what we said at the beginning of this, like, kind of talking about Andor, I'm so glad it wasn't a lightsaber fight.
That would be weird if this was a lightsaber
Right.
fight.
No, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that they didn't, like, they had this incredible fight, and it had nothing to do with sabers
Yeah.
and force and any of that.
If they had all of a sudden just started doing this intricate fight choreography,
It wouldn't
have
make sense.
fit.
It would have took me out of the episode.
yeah. But the way that the fight actually happens, where you have Cassian, who is like, you know, he's not some crazy duelist, but he is trained. You know, he's been in a scrap before, and then you have Cyril, who probably never been in a fight in his life other than that fucking Ferrex bullshit that he was in, where like Cassian disarmed him and then left. was like, this dude is not a threat, and just walked out the room.
It's such a poetically sad ending for Cyril.
It is, but like it's so like just perfect for his character and unfortunate, you know.
No, it is. I really like the endings, if they are the endings that they gave quite a few of the characters.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in the next episode too.
Yeah. They're trying to get out of here. This is where they end up taking down one of the KX droids. And I immediately, it was like, there we go.
I said the same shit. Like, that's got to be the one.
That's got to be the one. And I love where he's trying to get Will to leave, but Will won't leave because his girl's here. And he's like, all right, well, I got one more favor. And then you see him driving the truck, and he's got the droid in the back or whatever.
Yeah.
And I love this close-up shot of Diego Luna here. Cassian's driving the truck, and like you hear the announcement going out where like they're calling for help throughout the galaxy, and you just see that single tear just go down his face because he's seen some shit. And like Bix told the Force healer, she was like, you know, you scared him, and the Force healer was like, oh no, I'm sorry or whatever, and Bix was like, no, like you scared him. Yeah, that's not easy to do. And it's kind of the same thing here. It's like Cassian has been through some serious shit. Like the Empire fucking ruined his whole home planet, you know? And at this point, man, he's just like, you know, I think this is a new level for even the Empire for him.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that shot too, because unbeknownst to what I said earlier, I do love a close-up shot of Diego Luna, guys.
I figured you'd be repulsed by this scene.
Oh, yeah. I know. Just, no. And just in case nobody gets the dry humor and we get some comments that are like, how can this chick talk about Diego Luna? No, it was sarcasm, guys. Sarcasm.
No, she's obsessed. Trust me.
Moderately. I mean, he's not like, he's no Hayden, but I've been riding with Diego Luna since like 2002. I'm so used to saying 20 something.
You'll settle for Diego, is what you're saying. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of space daddies I'd settle for.
I actually thought this was probably the last time we were going to see Will, but it's not.
No, it's not.
Because Will says, tell people what happened here, Cass. And like I'm like, oh well, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
But he actually, we find out in the next episode that he survived. But the last shot that we get here, and I love this whole episode, right? Like I think this episode is pretty much fucking perfect. Right up to the end, because the last two shots we get is we see Dedra reacting to Cyril being killed.
Yeah.
And this actress fucking kills it in the scene because she doesn't say anything, but the way that she acts, like, you know, like her hand is shaking, her uniform suddenly doesn't fit right, and she's fucking with it, and like she's just hyper aware of her own self, and you can tell she's just completely sickened by everything that's happened.
And this is the last time we see her, right? We don't see her in 9, do we?
We don't see her in 9. I have a feeling we are going to see her again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really need her to die. But if we don't get that, I will get it. But there's quite a few characters now where it's like we have to have a reason they aren't around.
Yeah.
You know,
Luthen.
Luthen definitely. Although we'll talk about that in a minute, but Luthen, I think they don't necessarily have to kill Luthen. But I think they will.
Doing a fade into the nether.
But I think they will because, we'll talk about it in a minute. But we see Cyril's mom react to it as well.
Yeah.
And the whole time that both his mom and Dedra are reacting to it, the Empire's propaganda spin
is playing.
God,
so good.
Yeah.
So freaking good.
Where you clearly saw them orchestrate all this shit, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna remember our fallen Empire heroes that gave their lives on Gorman today, and were assaulted by these vicious people. And you're like, y'all killed them. Like the Empire probably had the highest number of casualties on the Empire and Rebel side on Gorman.
Right.
No, absolutely.
1,000%. Yeah. Terrific episode of television, though.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know how you watch this one and then don't watch 9 immediately.
Yeah, because it's like, I watched them all at the same time. Never mind.
Yeah.
I almost got the vibe like this was almost like Andor as a whole. It's almost like my Trust of the Emerald Sea or Warbreaker, where it's like, not everything's going to make fucking sense, but you could almost watch this just to watch.
Yeah, I mean...
If like, my family that hasn't seen Star Wars or don't care about Star Wars or maybe saw it when it came out in 1977, like my dad, you know what I mean? I could show him Andor, I feel like, and he'd get something out of it.
Yeah, I think at minimum you have to have seen, like, Rogue One or Episode 4. But other than that, I mean, yeah, you would get it, you know?
I think so, too. Like, the story that's kind of interwoven here, like, I think maybe for the first half of the season almost, you be playing catch up. But once you get there, then I think you kind of got it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get the full appreciation that anybody who knows these stories would. But, like, the same as with Warbreaker or Trust. Like, you wouldn't get everything, but I feel like there's story there.
Yeah. Going into episode 9, Welcome to the Rebellion. There is so much to talk about in this episode, too.
I know.
We open here with Senator Oren. He's a senator from Gorman. And he's arrested for basically no reason. We skipped over this earlier, but I want to talk about it now. One of the few times we saw Mon Mothma in this chapter is in episode 7 when he comes up to her in the hall and she's kind of explaining to him, like, look, I'm doing everything I can about the Gorman situation, but it's fruitless, right? Like, the Empire at this point, the Emperor controls the Senate. And he actually thanks her for everything that she's done, and standing up for his people. And I love that scene because you can just see on Mon's face, like, how heavily that affected her because she has a very thankless role in all of this.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
she goes to work every day and fights and fights and fights. And she knows that it's a losing battle, which is why she's funding the fucking rebellion, But, like, she's still, I think up until now, there's still this part of her that's like, well, democracy can solve this.
Yeah.
I think that shit goes away right here.
That clip from episode 3, the cutscene that you
Yes.
put, I had never seen that clip ever. And that's crazy, because I live and die episode 2 and 3.
And so the clip that she's talking about, and you actually can go watch this on YouTube, there's a cut scene from episode 3 that, so Genevieve O'Reilly is in this scene in episode 3 as Mon Mothma, and it's her and Bail Organa and Padme, and they're talking about how, out of control the, like, Emperor's, like, special powers and all that. Well, he's not the Emperor yet. Or how Chancellor Palpatine's powers have gotten out of control. And they're already trying to, like, start a way to sort of limit him and try to get away from the direction that things are going. And I really wish that scene had been in the movie.
Absolutely, because it would have set up so much for this series.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you've never seen it, go watch it, because it's a short little clip, but it gives a lot.
And obviously some of the CGI is, like, not finished in it or whatever. But On that note, I will say this too. This is another thing you guys can check out if you want to browse the YouTubes. But the fight choreographer from episode 3 has been putting out little pieces of things that they shot that didn't make it into the movie that have never been seen before.
Dope.
So they shot a fight of Ewan McGregor. So I don't know if you know about this, but there's the famous scene where he drops in and, there's the whole hello there, and then General Grievous says, General Kenobi, and that whole thing. So right at that exact moment, they actually shot a 6-minute fight scene that even Dave Filoni has said that's the best fight scene they ever shot for Star Wars, and it's not in the movie.
Wow.
And so that whole scene, obviously it's really unfinished, but it's just them doing the choreography.
Yeah.
Is out there. There's a scene where when Anakin goes to the temple, there was actually a Jedi Master that was there. It's not just him slaughtering the younglings. He had to fight this dude first.
Oh.
That whole thing never made it into the movie. When Obi-Wan watches the security footage on the hologram, there's actually a part of the fight between him and Anakin on the hologram, but the fight itself is not in the movie. So all that is out there, and it's pretty good. And then when they storm into the Emperor's office, Mace Windu and the other Jedi, Kit Fisto, and I don't know the other two people's names. That's the green guy with the tentacles. Yeah, anyway.
That's not really his name, though.
Kit Fisto?
Is that really his name?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
You don't believe me? You
I didn't.
think I'm
surprised.
It sounds like Kid Fisto.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't be bullshitting about no random Star Wars knowledge areas right there.
That's insane.
That's his name. Yep.
Kit Fisto.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a choice in that movie.
It was a choice. You almost wish there was a hyphen between fist and O.
Yeah.
Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
But he was a robot or a droid. Yeah. So that scene where that happened, originally Ian McDiarmid was just going to sit at the desk and he was going to deliver that "I am the Senate," that line. And then they were going to have a stuntman do the fight. And that fight scene is actually a lot longer. He doesn't kill those other Jedi really fast. It was this whole thing. And actually, he also didn't use his own lightsabers at the time. Anakin was actually there originally, and he pulls Anakin's lightsaber and he fights Mace using Anakin's lightsaber. But 2 hours before they shot that shit for reals, George Lucas was like, I want it to be Ian McDiarmid the whole time, instead of the stuntman. And so Ian McDiarmid literally has that fight with Mace Windu with 2 hours of lightsaber training.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it's really good considering I've always really enjoyed that fight. But they cut a lot of shit out of episode 3.
God damn.
I need Dave Filoni to Disney just give him a bunch of money to do a director's cut.
Oh my god, I would do it. Oh, I would fuck so hard with the director's cut.
Oh, me too.
Episode 3.
Yeah, me too.
And release it in theaters.
It would make money, so.
The original one just made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to go see it, you guys.
It is actually nearing the 1 billion mark now after the re-release. If they ever re-release it again, which I'm sure they will after it just made $50 million just for free money for Disney.
Right, they should do a Star Wars Day, just fucking watch through. You can buy for, I don't know, a discounted price, $50 or something. They will. And stay and watch through the lineage.
This was the 20th anniversary
3.
of episode 3. So
God,
5 years from now, 10 years from now, they'll do a 25th anniversary, whatever. They're gonna get it over that billion mark.
That makes me feel so old. That means I've been thirsting for Hayden Christensen. I almost said Hannigan.
For 22 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. 22 years.
Yeah. It made me feel old too when I went to go see it in theaters the other day because that's only the second time I've ever seen it in theaters. The first time I saw it in theaters was the very first premiere I ever went to. And we go to movie premieres all the time now, but that's the first one I ever went to. Wow. And we had to get there 6 hours early. It was a midnight premiere. Premieres used to happen at midnight, kids.
Yes, right.
It sucked. We got there at 6 p.m. because there was also no reserved seats back then.
Yeah.
You just got your ticket and you sat where you got to sit. And So we got there 6 hours early, and there was actually people that were bringing their tickets up, and people were telling them like, "Oh, your showing of whatever the fuck has been canceled." The good news is you can stay and watch Star Wars, or we can give you a refund because like they were only playing episode 3, I think, in like maybe like a half of the theaters, and they had all sold out by like 7 p.m. And so like they were canceling other showings and being like, "You can stay here and watch Star Wars, or you can get your money back and we'll get somebody else the seat." Yeah.
So that was the first movie. Episode 3 is the first movie I ever saw in German. Like, I had not gone on the economy. I'd only seen movies on the military base in English. But I went on the economy to a German movie theater because Germany fucks with Star Wars. I don't know if you know that or not. But
Pretty much everybody fucks with Star Wars.
I'm talking, like, full cosplay, the whole 9 yards. Wow. And so I wanted to see it, like, immersively and not with, like, a bunch of GIs.
Yeah.
And so I went on the economy, and I watched it the first time in full German. It was not like dubbed or what's it called when the words are on the bottom? Thank you. It was not subbed or anything, and I followed it. Wow. But then I immediately, obviously, saw it in English as well.
I bet Palpatine's dialogue hits hard as fucking German.
It does. Absolutely, it fucking does. I've only seen it I've only seen it the one time, obviously, in German.
Yeah.
It stuck with you.
Mm-hmm. I bet, yeah.
I'm sure.
It stuck with you.
Yeah, I bet.
It probably sounds just as natural.
Yeah, yeah, it probably does. Yeah, so I want to say, yeah, that was my first premiere, and like I've been hooked to it ever since, you know. Like, and I still really loved it when I saw it in theaters again. Something about Star Wars that it needs to be seen in theaters.
Absolutely, you know? Every chance that you get.
So back to the episode. Speaking of episode 3, in fact, I kind of hate the Bail Organa recast. I was confused by it at first.
Say, do we know the reason why they did the recast?
Yeah, so the actual guy that plays him in episode 3, he was filming something else and he wasn't available for this. And so I get it. Like, but the reason it just felt so off is like, because that dude has played Bail Organa since the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And like even in the Kenobi show, you know, he's playing the character there. He's in Rogue One.
Right, he's an important character too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's in Rogue One as this character. So like, I'm not saying that this guy that they recast him as like is just terrible or anything. He does well enough, but it's super off-putting.
It fucked me up. I was like, wait, that's Senator Organa? Wait, now hold the fuck on?
Like, it's like, no, it isn't. Who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly. I thought I was like mishearing something. I was like, maybe he's got a brother that also fucks with the Senate. Like,
it's like if you have you know, mayo your whole life, and then someone replaces it with Miracle Whip, and you're like, this is.
Yeah.
Why did somebody just put Cool Whip on my sandwich?
This is vastly inferior. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like maybe this is like Rufus Organa or something. But
that's what I thought legitimately for a minute.
Also, with this actor, he needs to play a vampire in something. This guy looks like he could definitely pull off a Dracula. You know what I mean?
He was so tall.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I was like, they couldn't have found another medium man?
Yeah. No, and like we said before, Genevieve O'Reilly is a kind of tall, you know.
Woman, exactly. Yeah. So that man has got to be 6'4", 6'5", the actor that's playing him.
Blade is killing this dude.
Oh, for sure.
Either way, he's going to be like, these motherfuckers getting real good at hiding it. And fucking Whistler's like, he didn't even have fangs, bro. He's like,
you just see Blade come in on one of those Imperial.
Right. Yeah. He's like, who is this? Puts up a pair of like the binoculars they have.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Some motherfuckers always trying to hover bike uphill. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Blade, it didn't make any sense the first time. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, this dude definitely need to be a vampire or something. But yeah, I love the scene here, and he actually delivers another great line here. You know, Mon is talking to him about how the Empire has already spun this shit, and he's like, well, the winner writes the story.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's such a cliche line to deliver and like have it still hit, and I think the dude pulled it off really well.
Absolutely.
Well, he did. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about the actor. It just
Yeah.
wasn't fucking Organa.
Yeah, it just fucks you up because they've done such a good job with all of this with like the continuity.
Yeah.
And so for there to be this really important person that's like suddenly recast, you're just like, oh, come on, man. That's not the game we was playing.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, they got Genevieve O'Reilly. She's in fucking episode 3
Yeah.
as this character. Like, come on, man. So Cass is here. He's still playing his journalist character, which Clay is like, oh, this is perfect, you know. And we already talked about the scene between the two of them. And you could tell that after seeing what he saw on Gorman, Cassian is shook.
Yep.
And he's telling Clay, like, I'm out. And she's like, what do you mean you're out? Like, you're done with us? You're done with the rebellion? He's like, Luthen will know what it means. And this is where he says the whole thing about, like, I need to start making my own choices. And she's like, well, I thought that's what we were fighting for here.
Yeah.
Because the Empire is never going to let Cassian just be, you know.
No, but he feels like a pawn right now.
Yeah.
He probably feels like Luthen knew what was the fuck
Yeah.
about to go down. And he put him in that situation where he could very easily have died, or at least witnessed some fucked up shit. Maybe he was trying to manipulate him into getting him more involved in the rebellion. And I'm sure he feels super like a pawn.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and he should. I mean, because
He was.
yeah. So I mean, I definitely understand where Cassian is coming from. You know, with his viewpoints, and I'll be honest, man. Like you can't really fault him because you can't force somebody to have this selfless kind of attitude towards something like this. Like
You can't force him to bix.
yeah,
Yeah. So right after this, we get some more Mon Mothma. Erskine, who we actually met, I think, at the beginning of this season, right? When Luthen talks to him at the wedding.
yes, yep.
And he
Wedding
talks...
in which Mon Mothma infamously did Molly.
Yeah. Yeah. I still want to know what the fuck was in that drink because she was like, well, I already had one. And then the chicken hands her a second drink. And like, I don't know, like I don't think anybody's tolerance is that fucking low. But like, this is the most serious, like put together, like chick on the planet in the galaxy. And like after that second drink, man, she didn't give a fuck about none of this. She was just out there just killing it. Yeah. Just killing it. And I was like, oh, okay, well.
Getting her Mass Effect on.
Yeah.
I want
She really
some
was.
of that on the next Beat Saber drinking night.
Yeah. Shepard's losing his shuffle. This is the Mothma shuffle
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Mothma maneuver.
Yeah, that's right. Erskine finds a bug in Mon's office. And this is where he's like, you know, I'll finish sweeping in here or whatever. You know, you should go out to the plaza. And what do you know? Here comes Luthen. And as it turns out, Luthen orchestrated all this shit. And she's like, how'd you know I was going to be out here? And then Luthen at this point, this is like the most flustered you ever see Luthen.
Yep.
He's like, listen, Erskine works for me. And he's like, but don't think about that shit right now. We don't have time for that. And Mana's like, wait the fuck.
Table that.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah. You're like right-hand person that you're with all the time is a plant. They work for me. Anyway, I need you to get past all that real fast. We got to keep it moving here. She's like, what the fuck?
I just told you you don't have time.
Yeah, Luthen's like, we do not have time to have this motherfucking discussion. But I really love this scene between the two of them.
I agree.
All of their moments together have been really good. This might be my favorite.
Man, that's hard to say.
I know.
This is up there though.
Because they always chew the screen every time.
Yeah.
But I love the dialogue here with them where Luthen is just like, listen, he wanted to tell you himself, but here we are. I need you to hear me out. Like, you know, Senator Organa, I know his team. And Mom's just like, how do you even know all this shit? You know, and then she's like, oh, wait, you just told me that motherfucker is feeding you everything. And he's like, you know, Senator Organa's team is corrupt. I'm going to send somebody I trust to get you. We all already know it's going to be Cassian. Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, you know, you got to do this. And she's like, at this point, I'm more scared of you than anyone.
Yeah.
Because she's like, let me guess, you're the only person I can trust. And he can't say anything here to really help. He's just like, tonight that is true. Yes, actually.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong, but you can completely see where both of them are coming from.
Absolutely.
And I love this sort of conflict between protagonists where, like, they're at odds, but they both completely make sense.
Yeah.
It's so hard to write yourself into that. Like, you can't accidentally end up in that situation.
Right.
You have to write yourself there, you know?
Yeah. And it's one of those things also where it's like time is of the utmost essence right now.
Yeah. I love that she brought up Take Home. Because I kind of thought that they had just swept that shit under the rug.
Wait, brother, what?
Take Home, her friend that Luthen clearly fucking murdered.
Yeah. I'm glad they brought him up again too, because I was like, yeah, that's a good point, huh?
Because she was like, I think about him all the time, and like how quickly you realize that he was a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you put him in the car.
Yeah, and he gone.
Right.
And honestly, you completely see where she's coming from, because if the Empire arrests her, she's pretty strong-willed, but like so are they, and they gonna torture it out of her.
Yeah, if she rolls on Luthen, that's game over.
And Yavin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the rebellion's done. All this work they've been doing for all these years is done, and so you can completely see how Luthen, he wasn't gonna do it, but you definitely know Luthen thought about, well, I could just shoot this bitch right here.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. You know that thought went through his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't do it, but like he definitely was like, this would be the easiest way to make sure this doesn't happen.
One less loose end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's definitely thinking about that.
Yeah.
Here. About that possibility.
Absolutely. And I really love it, because this is the first interaction we're going to get between Cassian and Mon Mothma.
And Mon, yes.
Really, really good. But before that, we have to do the speech.
Yeah, so she goes back inside. She confronts Erskine, and she's just like, you're dismissed. And I love, too, like, he's the loyal soldier, right? And he thinks he's been doing this stuff to protect her. And he's like, I just wanted to protect you. And she goes, well, you failed. Because he put her in this position, you know?
Right.
And we also get Luthen, Clea, and Cassian here on Coruscant, and we actually now know the safe house is on Coruscant. We were actually debating like whether that's where it was.
It's in the height of it all.
Yeah, I mean, hide right up under their noses.
Yep. Exactly. Cassian was there the whole fucking time.
Yeah. So Cass is trying to get Luthen to leave Coruscant too. And I love Luthen. Once again, Luthen always just kills it. And he's just like, well, you know, I'm not ready to go yet. And there's not going to be any Yavin for me. And we'll talk about this a little more in a minute. But Cassian, you know, is just like, you know, they're going to kill you, man. And Luthen's just like, they'll hang us both. Like, you had to have known that since the first conversation we had.
Right, that we weren't surviving this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you thought you was riding off into the sunset?
Oh, you thought you were making it out of this. Interesting.
Well, I mean, he gets to see something kind of like a sunset at the end.
Yes,
you know?
he does.
It just, you know, real up close.
Yeah.
Real radioactive.
And that's why, this line is why I think Luthen will die before the end of the season. Because it's just too poetic, right? It's like, him and Cassian both knew, like, and Luthen has never made any bones about it, right? It's like, I'm prepared to give my life for this.
Yep.
In Luthen's mind, he already has. You know? It's just a matter of when. Luthen's like, we have to win. Like, I don't care if I die or whatever. And he drops that same line Cassian does he said to Clea, where he's like, I need to make my own decisions. And Luthen has a little bit different response, and he's like, oh, is that what you've been doing?
Yeah.
You know?
I really hope if we do get a Luthen death, just a snippet, just a smidge of his story. You know he's got to have a fucking crazy one for how fucking gung-ho he is.
Oh, yeah.
They raped his child and killed his wife in front of him. Something.
I'm okay either way. I would love to know. Like, I personally would love to know. But I'm also okay if we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay if we don't. But I think that done right,
Yeah.
it could be fucking good.
It could be really good. But I'm also okay with it if they don't, because Stellan Skarsgård is so good at playing the character that you don't actually have to have it.
No, you don't have to.
You just know that he fucking hates them. And like to the point that it's enough for his entire life mission to be to destroy the Empire.
Right.
Yes.
He does not give a fuck. And yeah, I mean, I think he's so convincing that you don't need it. But if we get it and it's really good, I'm okay with that too.
What if we get it and it's just something petty like
Now, see, that is what I don't want.
I parked my balling ass ship in the wrong shipyard and I got a motherfucking ticket.
I got another ticket in there.
They took my shit. They took the wrong shit.
And I said, I'm going to take those motherfuckers down. If that's the last thing I do.
See, now that you say that, maybe we don't get it, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't.
I used to go fishing at this one pond on Naboo, and then they issued like a no fishing ordinance, and then like now I can't fish there anymore. So I decided that I would give up everything and like just bring them the fuck down so I could go fishing.
But what about your family? Yeah, I left them.
Yeah.
No, this is my life's work now.
Yeah, did you not hear me? Yeah, so Luthen won't leave. I wrote here, Cloris is the worst plant. Because, like, Mon has been on to him since season 1. Also, at this point, like, the ISB is, like, scrambling to figure out why the bug in her office is, like, not working.
You know, like, what's the problem with this thing?
And we get some more of Supervisor Legret here. He's the bald guy with, like, the kind of, like, white sideburns or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the most useless motherfucker at the ISB. Because he's like,
got to be a ton of redundancy there already.
Because he walks in and he's like, yeah, you know, we got this problem. He's like, you know, that's not really my area. Did you try to call him? Oh, he's not. Fuck, man. All right, whatever, man. You know, I'll check it out. And he's like, look, man, this is it. And he's like, yeah, that dot is sure red. And you know, it's just like this dude doesn't know what's going on. No. He doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I got called in to work on my day off, you know.
Absolutely.
He definitely, like, he got placed in that position because, like, the other people got fired or moved to different departments.
He's no, I can't think of her name, the blonde lady from Gorman, main chick.
Dedra?
Yeah, he's no Dedra.
No.
He don't give a fuck.
You know how at your job, so at your job, if you work with other people, there's someone at your job that you're like, as long as they have a job here, I'm good.
Yes.
He's that guy. If you don't know who that person is at your job,
that's probably you.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, everybody has that guy, and this is that dude at the ISB. Everybody's like, well, as long as Legret is here, I'm good. You know, Palpatine's gonna come in and fry that motherfucker any day now. It might happen right after this.
It could.
That might be why you never heard of this dude. We get Erskine and Cassian team up, and Erskine's like helping Cassian, you know, get Mon out of there. And this is where we get the speech. Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for years for this. I love the speech here. I thought it was perfect. For them to have written this over a year ago, you know, but she basically talks about how, like, the ultimate tragedy in all of this is that they've basically banished the truth, and all the shit that's like led them here. It's like the ultimate casualty here is the truth. And even I wasn't expecting her to bust out the straight up Emperor Palpatine at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, you trying to die?
They were like, cut the fucking feed.
Yes.
And of course, Luthen's got people even here that's keeping them from cutting the feed.
It's locked now, suddenly.
Yeah. Well, this is never like, oh yeah, we know, we fixed it.
Oh, well, damn it.
Now he's running up the other staircase.
Well, who can open it? Oh, fuck, okay. God.
So that guy that Cassian went to for like the press credentials or whatever, I was sitting there staring at him and I'm like, where the fuck do I know you from? It was bothering the shit out of me. I'm sure it was you too, or did you recognize him immediately?
No, it was bothering me.
Okay, you know who he is?
No.
He's Aldhelm in fucking Last Kingdom.
The fuck he is!
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, see, we both really love Last Kingdom, and like he's a
Obsessed.
major character in that, and so like, but you never see him look like it. It's just that dude's face, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck do I know this person?
Oh my god, I can't believe you just dropped that on me and you didn't text it to me before.
I just Googled it today when I was watching this again for the second time, because it happened to me the first time too. But I quickly forgot about it because of all the shit that was happening.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Was right away, I'm not going to lie to you, I was like, was he in Peaky Blinders? And then I was like, no. And then, like, so much happens that I fucking dropped it.
Funny story, like, the opening night I was watching this, apparently I'm not the only person that had this idea, because, like, Disney Plus was fucking up that night. And, like, literally, I'm sitting there watching it, and like they do the whole thing where her like pod slowly comes out to the middle, and then my Disney Plus starts buffering. And I was like, "You motherfuckers!"
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I was so
Lifetimes.
pissed. But what did you guys think about the speech here?
I thought it was so freaking well done. I really did. I mean, I wish I could complain about something, but I can't. These 3 episodes.
I agree.
This show has actually done a really great job with speeches and dialogue in general.
Marva's speech, I was like, it's going to be hard to top that, but I think she does it here.
Oh, and Bix at the end in the video. Like,
oh, God, we ain't even got to that.
So many good speeches.
And it's just so ironic and surprising that the Star Wars show has such great dialogue.
Yeah, considering that George Lucas was like, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was... George Lucas, I feel he just kind of wrote a draft and was like, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Ford actually would like come to him with the script and be like, you can't say this shit, George. Yeah. You can type it on your computer, but like, you can't actually say it.
George is like, I don't know what you mean, man. I don't know what you want me to do here. This is perfect.
Pull out your saber and show it to him.
This R2 unit's got a bad motivator. So she gives the speech, and
tremendous.
It's
really good.
It's off the chain, and
it's like a Captain America speech. Man, just captivated the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. You're just glued to it. Yeah. And as soon as they come out, man, we already see the ISB plant on Bale's team kills one of the other people. And then she's waiting outside, and this bitch just looks like she works for the ISB.
Yeah.
She does.
And I love this scene because Cassian shoots her in the face.
Yep. Yes.
And Mon is just like, and this is what we're coming to. Luthen has been trying to tell her this whole time, and like today, she's figuring out lots of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because Luthen has been trying this whole time to be like, listen, you're here going to balls and parties and all this shit, and like people look at you sideways in the Senate. My people are getting fucking shot and killed, like, and like living in safe houses and fucking getting harassed by the fucking Empire, and like they're never safe. And you think that you're risking it? Like he's like, no, we're risking it. And like she's finding that shit out here. She's like, you shot that woman in the face.
Cassian's like, and
yeah, Cassian's like, we gotta go now, like right now.
He's like, yeah, and I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah, and so I love also the line here, and it's the title of the episode where she's like, I'm not sure I can do this, and he's like, welcome to the rebellion.
Yeah.
Yes.
The scene where they finally get out of the building, so they have this whole harrowing kind of scene where they're trying to get her out. When Cloris walks up, I don't know if they meant for this scene to be this funny or not, but I busted out laughing both times that I saw this shit.
It is great.
Because she's like, she's like, oh, that's my driver. And Cassian's like, oh, fuck yeah. Do you think he'll help us? And she's like, oh, no. He's an ISB plant. And then Cassian's like, what's his name? And he's like, Cloris. And he's like, bah! And he just shoots him. And they don't say anything, but the look of like complete horror on Mon's face, and Cassian is just like, bitch, you just told me he's an ISB plant. Yeah. So either you were fucking with me at a terrible time, or I just shot this motherfucking ISB agent. Either way, we have to get the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah.
Either way, we're drinking.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious if she was like, I was just joking.
Oh my god, that'd be so fucking funny.
Yeah, this scene made me fucking cackle when I saw it the first time and the second time. Because it's just so well done.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. Because
Yeah,
that's 100% Cassian. Oh,
yeah.
wait, we got an out.
Yeah, there's no time for any kind of cutesy escape artist bullshit. No.
Oh, he's ISP? Bye.
Oh, hey, dog. Hey, what's up, man?
And it's just so great. Like, what's his name? Cloris. All right. Hey, Cloris, I found her. Because if someone calls your name and you don't know them, you're like, oh, man, do I know that person? And then you did. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so he gets her to safety. And, he gets her out of there. Yeah. We actually cut to Yavin at this point, and so the transition kind of here is Vel back on Yavin. And she's helping them bring in some like new recruits. And this scene confused the fuck out of me the first time I saw it, to be honest. Because she picks up the gun and she's like, whose weapon is this? And then there's a guy in the crowd.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's mine. And then like the music swells and they zoom in on him.
I texted you and I said I was supposed to know who that was, but I didn't.
I didn't either. I was like, what am I supposed to take from this?
And I didn't either. And I had to look it up. And, like, it's a deep cut, folks. Like, I love this show and Star Wars in general, and I didn't get it. So I'm about to explain it to you guys. So the gun is Clem's gun from Aldhani, the kid that got killed.
You all right?
So he left the gun to Cassian.
Yeah.
Cassian had Clem's gun. After they escape from Narkina 5, him and Melshi, he goes back and gets it, and then him and Melshi have that scene, and he's like, I got to tell people what happened here. He gives Melshi the gun. That's Melshi.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually in Rogue One as well.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is, yeah. Same actor and everything. Yeah, he's actually on the Rogue One team. He goes to the place with them. Yeah, so. But I did not remember him at all.
Nope. There's too much. Too many characters, too many dots to cross.
Also, the escape from Narkina 5 has been like forever ago, you know? He was a character. Like as soon as like they told me who he was, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. But like he wasn't like, you know, oh my god, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if he deserved the music swell moment in a slow camera zoom in like that, but it was, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a moment.
It was more of a moment for Vel than anybody because you know she's finding Clem's gun and you assume she talked to him later about it and he tells her that like Cassian gave it to him or whatever.
Yeah, I think those kind of deep cut moments are done best when they don't play it up.
Yeah.
Exactly, like Ahsoka at the beginning, where I had not, when I first watched Ahsoka, seen Clone Wars, Rebels, any of that. And there was some insinuated stuff with who people were, but it wasn't like a zoom in on her face type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like I was missing a lot, but I do remember I texted you and was like, hi, I feel like I'm missing things, and you kind of texted me about it or whatever to give me some preface, but they didn't make it so slap you in the face.
I'm like, so Obi-Wan was fucking Sabine's mom, and and then I proceed to give you the next like 15. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think you told me this before, actually.
Yeah. So like the Duchess, like her mom and Obi-Wan watched Clone Wars. They had a thing, and yep.
And it just adds to my like hate of the corruption of the Jedi and my love for Anakin.
Oh yeah, because
how you gonna throw fucking rocks in glass houses, motherfucker?
Well, Obi-Wan like did the opposite of what Anakin did. He was like, I can't pursue this because of my.
But you still put your dick in it.
They don't say that, but I like to think he fucked her. But also, Sabine was already alive, so like that's not like his kid.
Yeah, but also, if anything, Obi-Wan brought life into the world. Anakin he killed how many younglings?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the balance to the Force.
If that was Obi-Wan's kid, she'd know how to use the Force better. Nothing against Sabine, I love her.
Word.
I will say that if they had shown one more shot of her helmet, though, it was going to be too far for me in that first Ahsoka episode. Because I'm like, yeah, we get it. She's a Mandalorian. She's going to put the armor back on. We got it. Like, I know she is. Like, we're okay. But for the people at home, you know, not everybody knew. It's okay.
Yeah. I had to really make sure you knew, though.
So the next thing we get here is the safe house, which I really love this scene, too. Because of how subtle certain things in it are. We find out Will is still alive.
Yeah.
But it's this scene with Mon and Cassian. And honestly, they also, it's very much like Mon and Luthen. Like, we don't get a ton of them together, but when they are on screen together, you can't take your eyes off.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes right to the cabinet and pulls out a glass or whatever. And she's just like, you know this place. And he's like, yeah, I used to live here. And I think this is another big moment for her where it's clicking, where it's like all of these people that Luthen has had, like the lives they have been enduring while she's been at parties and shit, thinking that she has it rough. And I think she's really understanding here what it means to be in the rebellion.
Yep.
And I don't think she ever got that before now.
Yeah, no, this is such a big moment for her. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because, like, on the surface, it's a small thing, but, like, if you go underneath that, like you said, it's finally clicking with her. She heard the words that Luthen said before, and maybe she even functionally understood those words, but to truly understand is something completely different. You know what I mean? So now she's here, and she's like, oh, so yeah, y'all living rough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all in the trenches.
Yeah.
And the way that this scene is, where her talking to Cassian, you know, she's just like, I feel like, you know, I owe you, you know, for everything you've like must have had to go through. And he just says, just make it worth it.
Yep.
And
so good.
Yeah, and I like the writing in these 3 episodes is fucking tremendous. Please make more Star Wars, Tony Gilroy. please. I would love for this motherfucker to like make an Old Republic trilogy or something.
Oh.
Like,
aren't we getting an Old Republic show?
Man, no. James Mangold was supposed to be doing a movie about like the origins of the Force. Like, I mean, like Rakuten Empire, even before that shit. We're never gonna get that. I'd be shocked if we actually get. Disney hasn't been able to actually materialize anything.
Yeah, any of that
in forever. They'd be like, we got 15 movies coming out, and like, what, 2019 was the last time we got a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, well, oh yeah.
They are at least shooting Mando and Grogu.
Yeah,
like,
that at least will come out.
Yeah, yeah, because like they wrapped shooting the principal photography on that already, I think, and because they're already shooting Ahsoka season 2 now. Yeah. So he gives the make it worth it, and this is when Cassian leaves and goes to Yavin with the scraps of the KX droid. He gets there, and General Draven's like, yeah, so you know, none of this ever happened. The Gold Squadron is going to bring the senator to Yavin. She's going to make a speech. This is where I have to get into the online discourse. So let me explain it. Bear with me here. So, part of this is already canonized, and I knew going in, I was like, well, Cassian can't bring her to Yavin because she comes to Yavin on the Ghost, which is the Rebels crew. The Spectres, rather. That's their ship, and that's it's General Hera's ship. So Hera, Ezra, Chopper, all of those people are all on this ship. And Gold Squadron delivers them to the Ghost, and the Ghost brings them to Yavin. Well, while she's on board the Ghost, she actually makes a similar speech here. And a lot of people online, and this is all in Star Wars Rebels if you want to go look it up, a lot of people online have been like, this episode of Andor kind of retcons, the episode of Rebels, but it actually doesn't, because they're 2 completely separate speeches. She does give the speech at the Senate, which is like her officially saying "fuck the Empire" and breaking off. But then she gives another speech here that they broadcast throughout the galaxy, where she basically is advocating for the rebellion. This is kind of like the Declaration of Independence, but the rebellion version. I think they actually call it like the Articles of Rebellion or something like that. And so they are 2 completely separate but similar speeches. And so they did not retcon the speech from Rebels. She gives 2 different speeches with 2 very different purposes.
So I'm sure she would give a lot of speeches.
People online are saying that they retcon Rebels with this. And I'm like, no, actually, it actually fits in perfectly with the Rebels canon.
Shit.
Now, had she showed up on this ship with Cassian, then yeah, I mean, that's fucked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I think it's season 3 of Rebels. It'll be very easy to find because, like, of all the discourse online about it. But, yeah, go check out that Rebels episode if you kind of want to see Mon Mothma's trip to Yavin and how it goes. So
there's so much in that whole Clone Wars Rebels world. I'm trying to work my way through it. I am season 3, I think, of Clone Wars. Season 2 is long as fuck, guys.
You should really just follow a filler guide for Clone Wars. That's what I did. I have not seen it all. I actually, if people are going to watch Clone Wars, I typically tell them to start with episode 10 of season 1.
Wow.
And that is a Ahsoka.
I didn't dislike the first 9 episodes of season 1.
I think they're really slow. And I also really hate, like Last Jedi, I hate the Clone Wars movie that they kicked all that off with. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's terrible. Like, they kidnap Jabba the Hutt's kid, and, like, Obi-Wan and Anakin have to go get him back. And
there's an animated Clone Wars movie?
That they're released in theaters. And it actually...
Okay, yeah, I've not seen that. Okay, my face, if you can... I was thinking for a second you were talking about Clone Wars Episode 2, and I was like, who the fuck are you talking to right now?
No, the Clone Wars canon is literally the movie, and then Episode 1 is right after the movie of the TV show. I tell people to skip to, like, Episode 10 if they watch the show. And that's where the Ahsoka and Ventress fight happens, which obviously I'm very partial to. But yeah, I think Clone Wars is amazing, but I think unless you just really, really love all of it, find a filler guide online and just follow it to where you can see all the dope shit. Because there's a ton of great shit in Clone Wars. R2-D2 kills so many fucking people in Clone Wars. To the point where the next time you watch Episode 4, you're like, man, Obi-Wan knows that is Anakin's murder bot and didn't say shit. But there is a whole episode where, like, the Jedi get trapped on this planet and, like, they have to send R2-D2 to, like, get reinforcements. And, like, there's a droid armada above the planet, and R2-D2 takes out the whole fucking armada and then goes and gets help. R2 is crazy, man.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't talk about that a whole lot in episodes 4 through 6.
No. It's funny because, like, you know, in the prequels, like, because R2 is CGI, and, like, he can do a lot more shit. Like, in episode 3, he fights those super battle droids and shit. But, like, you know, in the first 3, it was a fucking actual little person in a fucking can.
In a fucking dumpster.
So he really can't do much other than this, you know. Okay, so Cassian has done his mission, and he's supposedly out. Man, I will say that this was kind of hard to watch. He gets back, and Bix is like, oh, yeah, welcome back, you know. Have a drink, you know. You earned it. And as soon as he woke up, I just immediately knew something was fucked.
Well, the talk that they have the night before, that's when I knew that something was way off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, like, dog, she is not reciprocating the same kind of energy you got right now.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, we did it, you know? Fuck yeah, we did our part. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And as we said before, you know, Bix was all in on this. And I hope that this is the last we see of her.
Yeah, it makes it so heartbreaking, but so guttural and real.
I just think for her character to know that she actually probably survives and, like, is out there, you know.
And that we know what Cassian does for the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like, then it makes that sacrifice worth it.
And she's going to hear about that.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
if she's alive long enough for Cassian to get killed, they blow up the Death Star, like, the next day, you know? So it's like, it's really legit, you know, that like, she's also going to know that he directly affected that and made that possible. Which really makes that whole scene with the Force healer kind of come full circle for her. I always thought that she was going to die because he tells Jen, you know, that he had a wife and she died in Rogue One. But as we know, Cassian was bullshitting. Hopefully she does. I thought she was going to die, But to me, this is so much better because I'm thinking she has to die in order for Cassian to fully buy in. But she also knows that. Yeah. And so she leaves. Yeah. And I think that that's just the perfect exit for her character.
I agree. I mean, like we talked about with the other character, Soul or whatever, in his exit from the show. I thought they handled both of those so superior, and I hope that it is her exit. Yeah. I hope that they don't pull some bullshit where he goes hunting her or something and then, like, finds her and she does die or something. Like, I really hope they leave that.
Her speech to him on the tablet was heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. And seeing how frantically he ran to the space station to try to catch her. Yeah. But she's also a skilled agent. And she knew, like, when he wakes up, I got to be gone.
Yeah. Because also she knew that, like, he could talk her out of it.
Exactly. Yep. That's why I think, she did it in the dead of night. Yep. Is because she knew were he to have said the right thing, like, she couldn't have did it.
She says something to that effect in the speech, right? Doesn't she say, like, I didn't want to do it this way, but you'd have talked me out of it, you know? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because, like, he had that power over her, and she had that power over him, and that's why they couldn't do the rebellion together. Yeah. Because there was, in a rebellion of that stature, that has to be your priority. And so long as there's another human being over that, then they have leverage on you, then they have whatever it is. Something is more important to you than this rebellion.
It's like, for me, different circumstances, but it gave me like similar feels for Cassian. But I go to the Dark Knight when Rachel writes that letter to Bruce.
Yes.
You know, and Bruce, you know, he finally reads it, and like he's devastated. You know, he's beside himself with like just grief and guilt and sadness, and he's grieving the loved one that he was this close to having, grieving the life that he could have had.
Well, Bruce never reads it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's what I meant to debate. Like, there's not the fact that he read the letter, because you're right. I was thinking about Alfred.
Alfred reads it.
Alfred reads it, but it's Bruce. He's still grieving the life that he could have had.
Absolutely, but it makes him a better Batman. Makes him like fully hit that Dark Knight status, in my opinion.
Yeah, because then when we go to the Dark Knight Rises,
right?
And throughout this time, Alfred's like, yeah, by the way.
Oh my God, Michael Caine kills me in that scene. Mm-hmm. I like don't want to ever watch it because of how I know how it's gonna make me feel.
I know, yeah.
Because Michael Caine can just effortlessly fucking play with my emotions.
And all that heartbreak kind of comes back for Bruce, and then it's arguably even worse than the first time we went through that kind of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But here, man, with Cassian, it's like it's so devastating for him. But at the same time, I think that he also kind of knows that maybe this is the kick in the pants that he needs as well.
I don't think in that moment he knows that. I think in that moment he's full send on.
Not in that moment, but for me, it felt like by the time that he races down to see, like, okay, is there any chance that she's still here? Everybody's already left who's going to leave today. Like, there's a moment there where he's standing there, like he knows that there's nothing, like she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't get her. I feel like at that moment that realization is starting to kick in for him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, at that moment, by the time we see him in the final scene, he's like, fuck it. If this is all I have, then this is all I have.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, he doesn't give it. He is much more the Rogue One character. And in this final scene where he's like, they're all like with the blasters and shit, and Cash is like, turn the fucking droid on,
Yeah.
He's like, whatever, just turn them on. Like, fuck it. Like, what else can happen to me today?
Right.
And we get this, Alan Tudyk's, fucking signature voice or whatever come through. Before we score these, I want to talk about one more thing here, and that is Luthen essentially being erased from the rebellion. And it's interesting for them to put it in here of like, oh, well, how come you never heard of him before? Well, like, this is why. And it actually, if it was cheesy, it wouldn't work, but it does work because it makes sense. It's like the story of the rebellion has to be oh, well, we are fighting against this oppressive force or whatever. The story of the rebellion can't be this fucking curator guy went around fucking murdering people and shit.
Yeah.
Mon Mothma's childhood friend, he said one time that he was unhappy with how things went, so Luthen fucking killed him. That can't be part of the story.
Yeah.
It can't be Luthen and his band of fucking ruthless assassins. Mm-hmm. It can't be Saw Gerrera. You never seen Saw Gerrera on any goddamn fucking rebellion poster, like these are like the fringe people who fought this thing, but like they have to be forgotten for the narrative, because it's important to know, like, while the rebellion is undoubtedly the right side, they have their own spin on shit too.
Yep.
Absolutely, and you see it so many times in Cassian.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like lines that he gives where he's like, at the point where I can't leave, I'm out, or whatever. There were so many lines.
Yeah. Yeah, where he's basically like, I came here to get away from the Empire so I could be free to make my own decisions.
Yeah, and y'all ain't letting me make my own decisions.
Yeah, so I'm just following someone else's rules today,
Yep.
Yeah, just handing the leash to somebody else.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it is important, that for everybody, like, for every Leia Organa, there was a bunch of these General Draven guys who... Yeah, I mean, they're there to fight the Empire or whatever, but, like, the rebellion needs them because they can get the job done.
Yep.
And that's going to come with problems.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
And I'm very curious to see what these next 3 hours of television looks like.
I know, because... And Kay actually commented on this. She was like, there's more? Because I was like, yeah, the last 3 episodes coming tomorrow. She's like, there's more? And I was kind of there, too. It's like... It could absolutely end here.
It could end right here.
Yeah, and it'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to stay up tomorrow night. I've kind of already come to terms with that.
Yeah, there's no question in it for me. Like,
that's a
I just
dangerous
hope
game.
Disney works.
Because, like, what time did the episodes premiere?
9.
At least they premiere at 9 and not midnight.
Yeah, midnight's the latest, the earliest you could finish them, though.
Yeah.
And, for the finale, they're going to go balls out. I mean...
In that finale, who knows how long do we know it's going to be an hour?
I mean, it might be longer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But see, my alarm go off at 5:30, friend.
Mine too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Damn it.
my first alarm goes off at 9:30.
Yeah, you don't have to talk about this.
But I often will be awake at 6 and talking to these motherfuckers right here.
Because we the only motherfuckers to talk.
Yeah, y'all are the only people awake at 6. And I'll be like, yeah, man, so,
What you doing
Last
today?
of Us was shit.
Like, yeah, this is the first text I want to get in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
I got this to look forward to.
If you wake up for me on fucking Wednesday morning and you see like hey, you watched Andor yet? You know what's up. But yeah, man, like, I definitely will be watching this. I'm so curious because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, obviously we're going to get some cool K2SO stuff. Are we going to get Admiral Akbar? Are we going to find out how the Mon Calamari like came into the rebellion? Are we going to get some more Senator Organa stuff? What's going to happen with Dedra? What's going to happen with Luthen, with Clea? Are we going to get some more Krennic nonsense?
Oh, yeah. We have to.
So here's my dilemma I'm in, and I've been pondering it all day. I haven't seen Rogue One in probably 5 years, okay? I did a pandemic watch through of everything at the time in order.
Everything?
Chronological. That was out in 2020. Well, other than animated, I've already said haven't seen all the animated, but like all of the live action stuff, except for the weird Christmas shit. I've not seen that. But anywho,
Ewok movies?
No,
Ewok
didn't
movies?
do the Ewok.
You could have skipped 7, 8, 9 and watched the Ewok movies in the holiday special, and you probably would have had a better time. One of the Ewok movies is good.
Nice. I've never seen any of them. I'll have to watch them. But so now I'm in the dilemma where there are things from Rogue One I have forgotten. Mm-hmm. And my full send intention was tomorrow, all I was going to do was watch 10, 11, 12, and then go directly into Rogue One. But I'm concerned I'm going to miss things in 10, 11, and 12 now. Because it has been so long since I've seen Rogue One.
I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, to be honest. Now, I don't think we're going to get a Vader or a Palpatine. As a matter of fact, I think Tony Gilroy already was like, don't look for that shit because I'm not doing it. Which, that could be a misdirect. But to me, I don't think it makes any sense to have Vader because in fucking Rogue One, that's like the first time Vader gets involved in this shit because it's Krennic's project. And then finally, they're like, hey, this shit's done got out of hand. Anakin, go handle it. And then you see what happens.
Yeah.
No, Palpatine makes way more sense than Vader, in my opinion.
I don't think you're going to get a Palpatine. I think if you get a major cameo of any kind, it'll be Mads Mikkelsen as Galen Erso. I think that is a reasonable cameo.
Are we going to figure out, or did I just miss it, how Saw Gerrera gets to be...
Yeah, I think we have to see Saw Gerrera get blowed the fuck up. Like, we have to see how that happens, because by the time we see him in Rogue One, he has, like, a completely mechanical leg. He's on, like, a breathing machine. I think part of his arms is missing. I think I'm going to have to watch
freaking Rogue One in the morning, because I'm already, like, a little bit shaky, and so I'm going to have to... I might watch it in the morning, and then watch it again Wednesday after the 9, 10, 11.
I'll say after season 1 of Andor... So I'm not somebody that loved Rogue One. That was
my question for you too. Has it changed your opinion?
Absolutely. So when I watched Rogue One originally, Rogue One has changed so much for me. I think it's the only Star Wars movie where my opinion has radically changed over time, other than Episode 7. That one changed pretty radically. That went from like I've watched this like 20 times to I'll never watch this again. So Rogue One, I went on opening night, the day it came out, midnight premiere, and I fell asleep in the theater. And I woke up when Vader's lightsaber turned on at the end. I missed like the whole badass space battle and everything.
It's a good part to wake up at least.
It is. Well, like, I mean, when there's a fucking Sith Lord enters the room, you tend to be like,
oh, shit.
Yeah. Especially like the hallway was dark as fuck. The way they shot that was amazing because like, the hallway's dark as fuck, and you just hear that, and then you just see the lightsaber, and you're like, "Oh, these people are all about to die." And so that was the first time. And then when it came out, I tried to watch it again, and I actually made it all the way through. And there were always parts of that movie I really loved. Typically the Anakin stuff. I love them making Vader's castle canon because that was a big thing from like the comics and the expanded universe. Mm-hmm. And then they actually made it better because they put his castle on Mustafar. And I fucking loved that. I nerded out about that detail because it's like, this motherfucker literally, his entire life at this point, because like, there's no more Jedi to hunt down. Yeah. There's not really anybody that's standing in the Empire's way here. There's nothing for Vader to do. Mm-hmm. He's basically just a relic that the Emperor keeps around that he can just send out if he needs to. But for the most part, he doesn't want people to think about the Force or the Sith or any of that shit. So Vader spends almost all his time sitting in this fucking bacta tank on Mustafar, where Obi-Wan fucked him up. And he plays a video game where it's like, press A to hate Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he presses A. And that's his whole life, you know? And just knowing that shit. And he's in this bacta tank that won't heal him.
I think there's some dreams of some flower fields of Naboo in there.
No. He's complete hatred at this point. Like, I don't think so. Because he's literally sitting in a bacta tank that won't heal him. And, like, that's the only time he can be out of that suit. Mm-hmm. And, like, another thing people don't really realize is that suit is designed by the Emperor. Like, he didn't design that suit. The Emperor designed that suit. It's a prison, you know? Mm-hmm. And, like, all that metal and shit and that machine that, like, keeps him alive, that shit is there so that if he ever turns on Palpatine can zap him and kill the shit out of him. Like, that suit is literally designed by Palpatine to limit Vader, not to enhance him. No, it's there to keep him alive and make sure that if he ever turned on Palpatine could fry him. And the only time he can be out of that suit is in that fucking bacta tank. And it's just an awful existence, you know? For him.
But then, so you're saying he goes from full hate, 24/7, 365, hate, to where we get him at the end with no transition, no dreams, no...
Oh, no. So, from Rogue One to Return of the Jedi, I think is 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know about Luke at this point in time.
Right.
He doesn't know about Luke, and he doesn't know about Leia. He doesn't know about either of them. All he knows is fuck Obi-Wan, and probably also fuck the Emperor too. But like he can't do nothing about either one. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's just pure overwhelming hatred for him at this point. I think
gonna have to disagree to disagree.
I think when he realizes that who Luke is, and then also who Leia is,
it's
like
a
I
snap.
don't think it's instant, but I think it's over time for him. Yeah. So
it's okay for some bad guys to be bad guys.
But I can heal him. Really, I can.
Well, and even if he does have a whole like, oh, I'm dreaming about being back on Naboo with Padme, that's just going to turn into rage when he wakes up. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not saying it doesn't feed that rage,
like,
but I do think he has the moments.
Yeah, I don't know if he's capable of a lot. I don't know if Morning Wood is one of them anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if he still has the penis.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, you know what would be the worst is if, like, Obi-Wan just got, like, the tip.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
In my dreams, he has the penis. If that was creepy, I apologize to every viewer.
What if he, like, flips a switch on the side of the suit and you just see, like...
Well, then, you know what?
He wouldn't need the Blue Chew sponsorship.
That's right. Oh, my God. Like, fuck. Yeah. I just picture it in the dream or whatever. It's like he's just laying back in like on the pillows in Naboo or whatever, and like Padme's just like got her mouth like right above it, and like right as she's about to lower down, she's just like, "I have the high ground, Anakin," and then he's back on Mustafar, and he's like, "Ah!"
But you know what? He's still thinking about it, so I think that you can't. Yeah, I do think it probably feeds the rage, but
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Everything. That's what makes him so angry. Is he never forgets everything he lost.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like he literally has lost everything, right? Like
everything.
He got duped and like basically lost fucking everything and pretty much ruined everything. Like and yeah, I mean, he's beside himself. And pretty much like, with him being a Sith, the more he feeds into that hatred, the stronger he gets. So
absolutely. Ratings?
Yeah, you guys ready to score this thing?
I am.
Let's do it.
Ace, I think you should go first.
Go, my friend, go.
Yeah, it is actually my turn though, I think, but we have a guest here.
Yeah, I'll go first. That's fine. Yeah, these 3 episodes right here, Andor Season 2 episodes 7, 8, 9, are exactly what they need to be. This not only got the show back on track, where I thought that the previous 3 episodes were, at minimum, kind of like a minor misstep. It's like we only have so much more time to wrap up this entire story. We need to kind of get things moving. Not only did they do that, but they did so in such a magnificent fashion that it's hard to find a whole lot of fault here. They do so much with the time that they're given here. This show is still a visual spectacle, and I just love looking at all the beautiful shots that we get here. They do such a great job at the political tension and also like the physical tension, the violence and the visual effects of like war. It's all done so well. You get to see characters grow and develop in ways that you really haven't seen them do so this much, not to this degree. I think that these 3 episodes are exactly what you want in like a group of penultimate episodes. And I guess most importantly, the thing that it did that is super important for, a show like this is it's gotten me ready to see how they wrap this up. Like, I want to come back and see how they end things here. And yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had the desire to watch Rogue One until watching season 2 of Andor. So if nothing else, they did that as well. So yeah, it's hard to find fault with these 3 episodes, man. they're doing what they need to do, and they're wrapping up plots that need to be wrapped up at, and they're just doing such a great job of continuing a story that really, truly, you wonder where they're going to go with this. So I'm going to give this batch of 3 episodes a 9.5 out of 10.
Are we ranking them as a 3 or?
Yeah, we're just doing the whole chapter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I had individual rankings ready.
I mean, you can, but you just have to give one for the whole chapter as well.
Okay.
Now, do you want to go? You want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I absolutely love this chapter. This was the first time this season where I felt it during some in season 1, but this was the first time this season where the 3rd episode ended, and I was like, fuck. I thought there was more. Like, it ended too quickly. You know what I mean? Because, like, so I'm not going to lie. I'm not saying this show is perfect. I love it. But there are some points in the previous 6 episodes where I was like, this is an hour fucking episode, ain't it? You know what I mean? Did not feel that not once during these 3 episodes. I literally jaw open the entire 3 episodes. And when that final credits music started playing at the end of that episode 9 or whatever, it fully felt like, okay, I could watch 3 more hours of this right fucking now. To me, individually, I would have probably gave 7 like a solid 8.59. I would absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, give 8 and 9, both 10s, in my opinion. I could not critique anything in it. I thought that it was fantastically done. I thought the acting was some of the, like, top tier acting that I have seen recently, especially out of Disney or Star Wars. The imagery, just incredible stuff. As a whole, seeing as I gave, you know, a 9 to the first episode and 10s to the other 2, I would go 9.75.
Very cool.
Wow.
How long have I been coming on this podcast? 2016?
Long time.
17.
Yeah.
Yep, 2017.
Was it my first episode, like the preview for Justice League before we knew it was going to be awful?
Oh, wow. That might have been it. Yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I hate I'm not going to be here for the review for this. I dodged a bullet like my first episode. I've been coming on this show since 2017, so shit, 8 years? Is that how long?
8 years,
Jesus.
yeah.
And it's crazy because I didn't give a 10 to anything until this year. Never ever. And about to give another one. Because I watched this the first time through, and the next day I thought about it the whole day, and I was like, motherfucker, I really like these episodes. They have me fanboying like when we watched the last episode of season 2 of Mandalorian where fucking Luke Skywalker shows up. Right? Yeah. Like, I remember watching that. I stayed up to watch that episode. That shit came on Disney Plus at 3 a.m. is when Mandalorian used to come out. And back in the day, I had a little more flexible schedule than I have now. So I would stay up, and at 3 a.m., I would watch those fucking episodes every fucking week. And when I watched that one, I literally was standing in my living room. I could not stay seated for that shit. And, like, I was just standing there, like, shaking. Like, and I felt like I was, like, 5 years old watching Star Wars, you know, as a kid. I had a very similar feeling when I got done watching these episodes. You and I were texting the whole next day.
Yes.
And I was like, if we reviewed it right now, I'm giving these a fucking 10. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, I'm going to let myself cool off, and I'll watch them again right before we review it, and I'll take some notes, and I'll get my podcaster brain on, and I'll watch them again without my fanboy lenses and see if I still feel the same way. And I still felt the same way.
Yeah.
It would be so nitpicky for me to go in and try to fault things here.
Yeah.
I would really have to, like, just kind of be an asshole to find flaws with this. Like, oh yeah, okay, like the Vel and Melshi scene is probably the worst thing I could find. Yeah. Where I'm like, I don't know if we
a zoom.
Yeah, like didn't require a zoom or a music swell. Matter of fact, you guys could have just put this in the back 3 and explained the shit. You know, that's probably the biggest fault I could find in it. But the way that this just acts as like basically a pre-Rogue One movie, you know, this chapter. And I don't think it validates the last 3 episodes. I think those definitely need some work. We talked about how this format could help the show or hurt the show. I think in the first chapter, we really couldn't tell because it was the first chapter.
Yeah.
And we would have only had that if they weren't doing this format. I think in the second chapter, I think this format hurt the show. Yeah. But I think in the third chapter, this format helped the show immensely because we kind of have to fill in the blanks between 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, like what happened in that year. And the way the script and the acting are, we don't have to do a whole lot of work for that. You just understand, you know? And
it's going to be a year jump between tomorrow night's episodes, guys. That is...
Yeah, and apparently, like, these episodes go right up to Rogue One. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be like literally the end of episode 12 could be Cassian getting the mission to go, like, get Jyn.
Yeah, you know? I think I'm going to wait. I think that right there made my decision. I'm not watching Rogue One until after 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah. Rogue One, to me, was radically different after season 1 of Andor.
I'm so glad, because I remember the first time I was ever on your show was for, I think, a Mandalorian review.
Yeah.
And you were a Rogue One hater, and I could not understand it.
Yeah.
And I, tried to defend it, and I was like, no, but Diego Luna's Cassian. And you were like, but one character does not a movie make. And
I didn't give a fuck about Cassian in that movie.
Yeah, you didn't.
So I actually, other than Mon, I hated all the rebels in that movie. Well, I guess Chopper is technically in that movie. And the guy that leads the Mon Calamari ship, his name is Admiral Raddus. He was cool as fuck, right? The Mon Calamari are like space dwarves, basically. And I think Rogue One has the best space battle in all of Star Wars in it. Like, where they're above the planet at the end, and the fucking Mon Calamari start actually ramming the fucking Empire ships.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
I thought all that shit was really cool. Yeah, but anyway, these are a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm going to throw another random piece of trivia in here because I always have to when I talk about this. So, you guys know in The Last Jedi, right? Yeah, I know. There's that fucking scene that's awful as fucking makes no sense where Holdo rams or she light speeds the ship. Terrible fucking moment in all of Star Wars, should be erased. But that ship that they're on in that is called the Raddus. And it is named that after the fucking guy from Rogue One, who, pilots that ship. He's on the ship that they beam. He's the admiral of that ship that they beam the Death Star plans up.
That's a deep cut, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool detail.
Also, I will take a little bit, not even a half a snap, for you being obsessed with Andor, because I kind of convinced you to watch the first season.
You did, yeah, because it's like I said, I didn't give a fuck about Cassian. When I watched that, all I cared about was Vader. I still don't think that Jyn was a great character. I mean, even watching it again, I don't care about Jyn. I love K2SO. The things that people really loved about that movie don't really hit with me. But I like the movie more and more. And it was also that movie came out around the same time as Doctor Strange, and they both committed the fucking same sin of casting Mads Mikkelsen and then not having him fucking do anything.
Yeah, man. That is bizarre how that happened.
Yeah. So,
with weird eyes.
I love Krennic in that movie. I was cheering for them to melt the Cassian and everyone else. And I'm not saying that I feel differently when I watch the movie now, but I actually feel bad about Cassian. But everyone else, I'm like, well, you motherfuckers actually, But I will say, after season 1 of Andor, it completely recontextualizes that movie for me. And I'm actually rooting for Cassian because I care about him now.
Yes.
And I never did before. And that does radically change the movie for me.
Good. Because I was on the Cassian train from Rogue One, from my first viewing. And I know it got a lot of hate, and a lot of people just felt very disconnected with it. And they didn't give a shit about Cassian. And I was like, Diego Luna's Cassian is a fantastic character. You just have to give him the full shot that you would give any other character. And this Andor show, I'm so glad they fucking let him do this show.
I think another thing that really pissed me off about that movie back then is like, it came out right after Force Awakens, and both of those movies are just jerking off the original trilogy people in different ways. Like, Rogue One is like taking it to the like grounded like rebellion side of it, and like, oh yeah, look, all this original trilogy type shit, and then Force Awakens was doing it from the other direction with like the fantastical elements.
So like that cut scene where he sends off the message that Leia gets in episode 4, that didn't make you feel tingly anywhere the first time you watched
it? When Leia showed up, like you see Leia at the end of Rogue One, and I love that scene. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it really recontextualizes too how like Tarkin is the real villain of episode 4. Like, Vader is kind of a secondary villain. Like, Tarkin is the villain here.
Yeah. Damn it, I'm going to have to rewatch all this shit this week.
Yeah. I watched the original trilogy recently because I just had not seen it in a minute. I think it was right after I watched episode 3 in theaters. I went on Disney Plus and watched that. And I love the Blu-ray cuts, which is what's on Disney Plus with the blinking Ewoks because they're creepy as shit. Because they CGI'd eyes onto all of them. But I think that when you look at like the end of Rogue One and how it really perfectly like just seamlessly goes right into the beginning of episode 4, they did a great job with that.
They did. I remember like whatever faults I had with that movie, the ending of that movie 1000% brought it home for me.
Which these episodes of Andor really just bring back the fuck the sequel trilogy, because there's no fucking way that this Mon Mothma that gives this speech allows the goddamn New Republic, she's there, she helps them create it, allows them to demilitarize their fucking army, and then allow the fucking First Order to take over and blow their planets up.
Yeah, that whole shit just really pisses me off. Honestly, I have not watched the sequel trilogy since the first time I saw them.
Like, what they're going for with the First Order, right? And we'll wrap this up because we've been in it for 3 hours, but they're going for the whole, like, well, fascism will repeat itself. Like, whereas the Empire was always, like, a direct correlation to the Nazis, the First Order was, like, supposed to be them, like, poking at the neo-Nazis, right? Where it's like, oh, yeah, this is just a group of fucking fanboys to these really actually shitty, evil people. They're shitty and evil, but they're also stupid and incompetent on top of it.
Yeah.
Like, where, and that's why, like, the First Order isn't really believable as a threat. And I'm like, I guess I get that a little bit, but I had to dig for that. And also, it's not compelling. Like,
yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, if the analogy you're trying to put into your story makes your story just meh, then it's not worth it.
I agree.
We cannot get into the problems of the sequel trilogy because we'll go another 2 hours. I feel like that's just well documented.
Yeah. I'll say this, concerning Rogue One, like my thoughts when the movie came out was just, all right, yeah, so they did this thing. It was a movie.
Forrest Whitaker's here.
And then he's not. But honestly, I didn't feel that the movie justified its own existence. I understand why they did it. I didn't think it needed to be a movie. And I haven't seen it since 2016 when it dropped.
Are you gonna watch it after Andor season 2?
I am.
And do you think it's gonna change your opinion, Andor? I mean, do you think Andor is gonna change your opinion on Rogue One?
I don't think it will change my opinion on Rogue One. I think that I will, however, be able to enjoy it more. Just because now there's so much more that is now attached to this.
Yeah. The connection that you have to Cassian and to Mon Mothma and those characters, like, that is what changes. Because, as I said, didn't give a fuck about Cassian when I watched it the first time. So, like, seeing it again and you actually know this character and care about what happens to them, and it makes the ending a lot more tragic, too. Because I cheered when they got deleted the first time. Because I was like, I fucking hate these characters. And it does make complete sense, right? Like, the Mon Calamari are the only reason the rebellion didn't get crushed that day. Because everybody else was a little bitch. Because, as we all know, like, yeah, Mon makes the speech and, like, a bunch of the star systems, like, they defect or whatever. But, like, Rogue One is the first time that they're like, okay, we're calling it all in. Like, we're going to go assault this fucking Imperial base. Bring your fleets. And everybody's like, so you said they have a thing that blows up planets? They're like,
Was that literal, or were you just being hyperbolic?
Yeah. And, like, a bunch of the rebellion, they're all bitches. And they don't want to show up. And it tracks,
Ain't a bitch.
Cassian Andor, yeah. and General Radis, or Admiral Radis, I'm sorry.
Don't be demoting him.
I won't. Yeah, well, fucking.
That's because I went into Akbar's backstory, and you just, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing Akbar becomes the admiral of their fleet after Radis gets fucking killed here. So,
I have a suggestion, gentlemen.
Okay.
Are we done with Andor? Because it's a suggestion for something else for us to do.
Okay.
Not tonight.
Oh, well, no. No, I'm going home.
So I know you guys like to review really bad shit, right?
Oh, no. See, we don't need any more.
I wouldn't say that we like to.
Yeah. Well, everyone, this has been a great episode.
This has potential to be real good. But my spidey senses are up. It is sci-fi. It is not in the world of superheroes, though. There is a series that is dropping next month. It is based on a 32 book series that I have been reading since 2001, and they have made a syndicated television show. It is called The Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Who is making this?
Passion Flicks, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, who?
Is that like Caleb Flicks? Like,
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's way dirtier somehow.
Is this like a Skinamax? Like,
It could go there, but it is about a race of vampires who are brothers and they...
No, pass. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Jazzy and I are hype. We're having a premiere party. We've been reading this book for years.
Is a young girl going to fall in love with an ancient being?
So, technically... He's like old, but
yeah. All right. Well, you already know.
I tell you what. Because we're nothing if not gracious hosts. You and Jazz can come here and record an episode if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll just bring snacks.
Yeah,
I'm doing a whole vampire themed charcuterie board, gentlemen. You could be in on that if you watch.
You guys could come here and record an episode. We'll set all this up for you, and we'll go in there and watch Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a suggestion, but I thought it.
I have sworn off of the young girl falls in love with an ancient being trope for all of 2025.
She is half vampire, and she finds out because he tells her. So technically, she's not a young girl. She's going to become a fellow immortal being. But this is just one story. There's 32 stories, sir.
Oh my God! All right, folks. Well,
there you have it. There you have it. This has been something else. I don't know what happened there at the end, homies. Don't take that as a threat. All right.
It might come, guys. You might see it pop up.
We're pretty sure.
It won't. As a matter of fact, we have 2 more Fantastic Four movies to review before July. We have 4 movies that are going to come out in July that we have to review.
Our Perfect 10 episode.
We're doing our Perfect 10 episode this Wednesday, which I now can talk about this chapter of Andor on that.
Yep.
I'm really hyped for that episode.
I am coming back next week, right?
For Andor, yeah, for the finale, yes.
After that vampire recommendation, we have to take it with the committee to see if you can come back.
We do have to talk it over with them. Yeah.
But for now, we'll say yes.
And luckily for you, it takes like 30 days to get a response back from them. So by the time we hear yay or nay, you'll have already recorded it.
Be too late, so,
there you go. Well, hey, I'm here then.
And maybe we can use this to get them to revise their responsiveness.
Maybe, but they'll probably just get upset.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell them
write
Junior.
A strongly worded letter to the committee.
We're gonna tell him Junior it was his idea. So
they might go for that. They don't punish Junior.
They're gonna take his vodka away.
He won't like that.
That's what's
in the baby
in the bottles. Yeah.
He will not like that one bit. Well, now we've reached the point in the podcast again where this thing has gone completely off the rails. But at least we were on the rails. Not in the beginning.
Multiple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we got on the rails for a good long while.
We're like 80% on the rails, which for us is like top 1%.
Oh, yeah. But with that being said, it is time to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I believe it's past my bedtime. It's probably past your bedtime, too.
It's way past my bedtime. And I'm looking outside. I'm not wanting to drive home.
I'm about to go home and play some video games. Probably some V-Rise.
My gosh.
Well, homies, that's going to be all for this one, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this week's breakdown of episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Andor Season 2. What a phenomenal grouping of episodes, and by the time you guys see this or hear this, you will know if they stuck the landing or not, and so will we. So we'll be back again next week with our wrap-up of Andor Season 2. Really looking forward to that. As Caleb already mentioned earlier, we have our Perfect 10 episode coming up in just a couple days here, and that's going to be really fun as well.
Junior's already excited about it. Look, he's like 10.
Yeah.
What homies are going to be on the Perfect 10 episode?
Oh, this is just us. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then Lauren will be back with us next week to wrap this whole thing up.
For shizzle.
Since you're having your Dragon Con cherry popped this year,
I know.
we will be reviewing Dragon Con.
I would love to be there. I will be guys, I think I'd be a great input on that because I am such a fresh face to it.
Yeah,
well as I'm not in as deep as some of the shit. Mm-hmm. So, could a casual viewer go to this con and still get something out of it?
See, you actually don't get to claim casual at Dragon Con because of the vast number of authors that are there.
True, and also Star Wars shit is there. So, I'm in hard on Star Wars, especially right now. But video games is kind of where it loses me a bit.
There's actually not a lot of that at Dragon Con.
Okay.
That's more of a MomoCon thing. Yeah.
See, I think I'm going to do better than I was concerned.
Yeah, there's more authors at Dragon Con than there. The only real video game shit that I've ever really seen there, they always have a little Halo panel or something, but it's in a small room. Mm-hmm. There's a fucking high fantasy track at Dragon Con that has Lord of the Rings and ACOTAR and Cosmere and all that shit, so you don't get to claim casual.
No. I'm full send on all those things you just mentioned. So.
Yeah, no, you don't get to claim casual. But I don't know that we've ever had a first timer on the further review, have we? Other than
last year, we had Oz.
Was Oz on for that? Yeah. So
Oh God, that's crazy to me that last year was Oz's first time at Dragon.
Oh yeah, it was. He actually knows what to expect this year, but he ran with my crew last year at Dragon Con, and by the last day he was
done.
He was donezo.
Yeah.
And me and Kevin were like, man, we could go another day. I think that was a lie because about 4 hours after I said that shit, I was like, man, I won't go home.
All right. Well, for real this time, homies, we're wrapping this one up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We will see you guys again soon, but until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.
And I am Superhero Homie Lauren.